Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing. I'm live. I guess I'll play a couple games here while we wait for some people to come in here. While I wait, get my headphones ready. I'm sure y'all are gonna have some epic videos for me to react to for today. Wait a minute. Hold on one second. Sorry, I'm plugging in my headphones. Oh, there we go. There we go. Unable to find an opponent. Stop. There we go. Say if I have to, I'll play Fight Night Champion. Do a game without. Oh. I will if I have to. I'll put on a masterclass in a boxing ring. But I don't think it's going to come to that. Let me load up the control room here. Ooh. Give me no cap, baby. Oh, okay. Here we go. All right, what's good, gang? While we wait for a couple people to come in here, I'm just gonna play a couple games of this, and then we'll get into the reacts. What's going on? The Meg. Yo, Zone, been following all your UFC content. Want to drop and say hi. Also love the new video game content. Great. Thank you so much, man. Got plenty more to come. I'm trying to do about one game video-ish a day. All the UFC content is going to remain the exact same. I'm just adding more. I think people's initial concern that I wasn't going to be producing any more UFC content was, well, they thought I was going to switch back to gaming. No, I just want to do both. I love MMA, but, you know, sometimes I like to have other things as well. Jab and leg kick. Oh gosh, he's piecing me up in the boxing. What is your record? I actually don't know. It's probably not very impressive. Just trying to go to the body a lot to start. Body and legs, and then the head will become easier to target. Yup. And because I'm in the southpaw stance, he's orthodox, I want to go to my right. Just touch the leg. Just keep going to my right. That actually wanted the teep kick. Ooh, nice. Switch to orthodox. Leg kick. Boom. Who wins, DJ or Van? Oh, DJ. DJ, for sure. He out-grapples him. And even on the feet, that's not a wash. Van will have moments on the feet against DJ. But, like, DJ didn't get knocked out in a Muay Thai setting against Rod Tang. I don't think that Joshua Van's going to be... Like, no offense to Joshua Van. But I think he's too green. Boom, boom. I'm going to keep chopping the leg. Now, I don't really want to be circling to my left. But it's just a switch up the angles. I'm just naturally a counter striker. So to some people, they might watch this and go, oh, he's running, da-da-da-da-da. Oh, I tried to catch with the head kick. Some people might say, oh, he's running, this is boring. I call this masterclass. Boom. Yeah, DJ definitely wins that, though, by the way. If you guys have any suggestions for what you want me to react to today, what, MMA-specific stuff, I guess. Yeah. You think you're going to out-body shot me? Are you kidding me? So what does Joshua have... Did he just knock me out with a spinning heel kick? Have you ever seen Joshua Van throw a spinning heel kick? Wait, I gotta see this again. He knocked me out with a spinning heel kick. I was this close to landing the head kick, too. That is unreal. Yo, Zone, been loving your MMA content. Thanks for reacting to my hot takes with reason. Absolutely. I try to, I try to be pretty respectful about that kind of stuff. I mean, I understand. Not everyone's gonna always agree. Even if we disagree, we can do so respectfully. It's something that the MMA community needs more of. All right. Let's do one or two more, and then we're going to see about what we're going to react to today. Okay. That spinning heel kick was crazy, though, right? Oh, my goodness. $57-37 is my record. That is abysmal. But, I just try to have fun. What's going on, Constantinos? Hey, thank you very much for the support. I appreciate it. Welterweight. I'm curious if that guy sent a message or not. I always get curious whenever people win against me. I always get curious to see whether or not they send a message, because a lot of people do. Because people are they're kind of toxic. Should we use Zesty Michael Morales? Being Zesty might just be the best way to win in MMA. Look at Michael Morales. Look at Peyton Talbot. Prime examples. Let's see. So I'm gonna have the power advantage. So I don't think he's gonna want to stand in close boxing range with me. Oh, maybe he's gonna want to stand in close boxing range with me. Boom, boom. Okay, he's trying to get a read on my body shot timing. Okay. I actually haven't used Michael Morales yet, so this should be interesting. Boom, boom. I'm getting tagged with too much. Ian Gary's fast, bro. Just trying to chop out that leg a little bit. There we go. Ooh. Now I'm investing more in the body than he is. That's going to pay dividends in the later rounds. Or I shouldn't say the later rounds. By the third round. Boom, boom! Drop body shots. Eat it, eat it. Bro, can this guy back up? I wish that he had that double hook combination where I can go head then body. Boom, boom! Damn, he's not giving me his body. Alright, I think I win the first round. Okay. Woo! I thought he just dropped me. I was about to cry. Oh my goodness, okay. Who do you think's winning, Walker or Reyes? That's gonna be, like, the battle of the negative chins, am I right? Like, I genuinely don't know. Give me Reyes, though. I think Reyes is, like, been facing bigger power punchers. Like, both their chins are bad, but the difference is that Dominic Reyes has been knocked out by power punchers. Whereas Johnny Walker, well, like, think about literally anybody on the UFC flyweight roster. Johnny Walker's probably been knocked out by him. He got knocked out in one shot by Magomed Ankalaev. Bobby Weaving like I'm prime Mike Tyson. Nah, I can't get knocked out, bro. Just gotta keep my composure. No, I wouldn't tight, no. Pop up. Against this guy, kicking would be perfect. Boom. Boom. Ooh, where's your legs at now, Ian? Where are your legs? I just haven't been kicking because I'm using Michael Morales. Oh, jeepers. My stamina's or my lungs are in the red. I'm just trying to let my lungs recover. Boom! Leg kick. Leg kick. Oh gosh. I'm kind of getting worked here a little bit, boys. Might be GG's. Yeah, I'm cooked. GG's. Oh! I'm still alive! Hold on! Okay, give me the half guard here. Don't let him posture up, whatever you do. Nope, okay. Okay, we reversed the position. Phew! Check me out. What? No way. I literally... Oh, man. This is insanity. Why are we frozen? What's going on? What's going on? He left! Let's go! Oh my gosh, that was stressful, bro. I felt like I was so looted in just boxing. Alright, I think we got some people in here now. Okay. What are we reacting to today, gang? Let me turn that off. Put a little trusty headphones on. What are we going to react to today? What channel am I watching today? I'm going to try not to get rage baited this time. Do you think if Pereira moves up to heavyweight, Ankh can become a long-reigning champ? I don't know. I'm of the opinion I still think Ankalaev can beat Pereira. Is that a crazy thing to say? I still think he can beat him. Morales has to be Islam's biggest threat just because of his zestiness. Zestiness is like the best thing to have in MMA, apparently. Apparently. Oh, my watch later tab, actually. What are we watching first here, gang? You let me know. Like, I have like one video here that we can watch. I probably just want to watch 2 or 3 today. Oh, what the? That is not what I wanted to click on. Oh, I didn't even have my headphones plugged into the right spot. There we go. React at bedtime. Alright. I don't really watch bedtime MMA, so this should be interesting. I feel like you guys are definitely react to the video you want to show. True. I feel like you guys are definitely the sort of people, by the way, can I just throw this out here? You guys are definitely the sort of people to get me to watch something that you know is going to make me angry. Is that crazy thing to say, gang? I don't really know. Okay. All looked very good in their first fight. That's exactly it. Okay, this is the final, or this is the one I'll probably turn on here. We'll watch one bedtime MMA video here. Let me make sure that this is on. Okay. And don't worry, you guys are going to get featured on the YouTube after this, or for this video. Okay. Oh, right. Wait, it's not this one. There we go. All right. The Bedtime MMA UFC End of the Year Awards. Should be interesting. I bet. What is this going to cover? Like, knockout of the year, submission of the year, stuff like that. All right, let's get it.
What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today, as you can tell, this is a very special occasion. I am here with the Bedtime MMA End of Year Awards for the
Yeah, holy yapping. Let's just get straight to the point, all right?
Great year. Let's get into this, starting off with our...
Like, see how I just saved us 40 seconds of yapping? You're welcome.
First award, Fluke of the Year. I mean, this is a super...
Fluke? I don't believe in flukes necessarily, but let's see his argument. Let's see its argument.
Prestigious award, the Fluke of the Year. We've got some great nominees coming in for 2025. First things first, Beneil Dariush fluked by BSD. That was a crazy moment. Obviously, Beneil Dariush...
That was not a fluke. Beneil Dariush has just always had... I shouldn't say always had, but for the most part, he's kind of had not a great chin. Let's just be honest with ourselves. And BSD hits very hard. If you let him bang you over the head like that, yeah, you're going to get knocked out. That was not a fluke.
Dariush was winning the first 15 seconds of that fight. Then he got flatlined. I also put an Islam Makhachev against JDM. The guy held down, you know, like top half guard for 23 minutes. Total fluke. You know, listen, the guy got lucky on that night. It is what it is. Respects to the kid. We all know the JDM army knows the truth. I also put Derek Lewis.
I did see something about his JDM's coach saying that it was the bright lights or something, that like being in that spotlight caused the issues. But I don't know. It's kind of one of those things like you can't fluke someone against someone like that for 23 minutes. I don't believe in that.
Versus Taliesin Teixeira.
No.
He was getting up, in the words of Dominic Cruz. And I also put on...
But Taliesin Teixeira also grabbed the fence to get up. Like, come on.
Carlos Oberg KOing Dominic Reyes, just because I feel like these all kind of encapsulate what the Fluke of the Year award is, which is, you know, did it happen? Potentially. Right? Do we have to accept it? Yes.
And I would guarantee you, I would bet BSD to beat Beneil Dariush by knockout, probably in a rematch. I would bet Islam Makhachev to dominate JDM again in a rematch. This one with Derek Lewis and Taliesin Teixeira, okay, that one's a little bit different. You never know. Like, you never bet on a Derek Lewis fight. All right, and then the Dominic Reyes, Carlos Oberg, that was just a tough stylistic matchup for Dominic Reyes. Like, a much more technical striker.
Does it really count in the long run? I think not, but let's get into this, man. My winner for Fluke of the Year...
Wait, take a guess. Who's going to win Fluke of the Year? I swear, if he puts Islam over JDM, I'm going to flip.
Year 2025, it's got to be Beneil Dariush getting fluked by BSD.
Out of all his 4 options, this one and the Derek Lewis knockout were the most flukish, but I don't like the term fluke, right? Because that insinuates that BSD couldn't pull that off again, which he absolutely could. Derek Lewis could absolutely knock out Taliesin Teixeira again. Like I wouldn't call them flukes.
Congratulations to Benoit Saint-Denis for this huge win. I mean, listen, dude. You guys can say I'm a hater of Benoit Saint-Denis, but here I am giving him props. I'm literally giving him an award on my channel. A very prestigious award.
Wow, that's crazy. Such a prestigious award. Thanks, man.
That I'm sure will be very important for years to come on the Bedtime MMA channel. I think this is the only right choice. Like, all jokes aside, listen, bro, Islam JDM, I can't give him that, even though I really want to. I think that'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, I would have flipped. This feels like a rage bait thing. Okay, you made your pick on that. Okay, let's go to the next section here.
Important, honor. And this one's very specific to the channel, just like all of these. We're going to be presenting the Aussie Casual Award. The biggest Aussie casual moment of the year. And let's be real, bro. 2025 was a great year.
The biggest Aussie casual moment? What is this? This does not look MMA related. That looks more like calisthenics or gymnastics or something. I would say it's probably Volk, though, winning the belt, right? Volkanovski's probably the biggest star. So I think that would be the casual award, personally.
For us. We had a great year in 2025. The Aussie casuals were living it large, dude. We were all pulling up in suits. Yeah, 3 tickets to UFC 315, please, bro. We were having a great time, okay? The nominees.
That was the one where JDM fought Bilal, right? It was UFC 315. That was in May, I believe. And I wanted to go to that one because that one was actually in Canada. It was in Montreal, and I wasn't able to go. I went to go buy tickets. I clicked purchase, and then it just didn't go through. I don't know if I just turned off my phone too quickly or something, but I don't know what happened, but I didn't get the tickets.
Vote getting the bloody...
That's Bobby Knuckles in some game show. Oh, that's Robert Whittaker? Oh my gosh, that looked like Alex Pereira for a second. Oh, I guess you guys can't really see because of the chat here. Here, let me move the chat box here for you. But this here, right? Yeah, I thought that was Alex Pereira for a second. Not my brightest moment in the world. I'll say that much.
Belt back. He fucking went out there. He dealt with that bloody Lopez guy on the ground. He fucking popped the jab on him, moved around at range, bloody flicked the calf kicks.
Okay, you guys probably watch Bedtime MMA more than I do. So I gotta ask, is this guy's account just like rage baiting? Or is he just like very biased towards Australians? Is that where this guy's from? Like, I don't know. Is this meant to be funny? This is kind of just off-putting.
Beautiful performance, saved the country, brought the belt back home where it belonged after getting hit with the fluke of the year last year by Ilia Topuria. I also have Quillen Salkild knocking out Nasrat Haqparast. This guy...
They own a bakery!
I carried UFC 321 so hard. Personal friend of the channel, Quillen Salkild, putting it on for the Aussie casuals. This guy's bringing in a new generation of Aussie casuals, and that deserves a lot of respect. We've also got JDM winning the fucking belt, dude. Come on.
Oh, by Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev's kid. What happened in their fight? Like, we could just never be happy and accept the fact that JDM had a good fight against Bilal Muhammad. As soon as you praise a fighter like JDM here, for instance, people are going to be like, oh, Islam Makhachev. Like, give it a rest.
Come on. This was one of the greatest moments of the year, bar none, okay? I don't care where you're from. You were an Aussie casual celebrating this moment. This was a great win. The fucking short notice step up, the back and forth fight, getting on them. Yeah, I'm pretty happy to get the belt. Obviously, I believed I could go in here and outdamage him. And that's what happened. So yeah, I'm super happy. And I've also got Robert Whittaker mogging everybody on Physical Asia. I'm only
Physical Asia. What?
Like 5 episodes in still. I'm still watching it. But there's this part where this little Korean woman's trying to fucking yap at our boy Bobby Knuckles.
Just like you're yapping right now. Skip forward.
Respect for all the nominees of all these awards, but there can only be one winner. And I think you know what it is, dude. Volk getting the fucking belt back. Come on, dude.
Yeah, let's go. Round of applause. Come on. Everyone give him a round of applause.
For everybody. I feel like this is bigger than...
Yawn, yawn, yawn.
No, listen, I could potentially win this award one day. That's how, important this one is. We're going to be looking at the blockhead of the year. Now, there was a lot of
Does that mean like a really good chin? Why is it, if that's the case, why is it Yuri Prohaska on here?
Generational blockheads.
I guess he got knocked out by Alex Pereira, but still.
in the UFC in 2025. More that even haven't made the top 4. There's so many honorable mentions I feel like you guys could throw up, but these are my final 4, and I feel this is quite a good list. We've got Benoit Saint-Denis, 2 wins, walking down Mauricio Rufy, walking down Kyle Prepolek.
What does blockhead mean, though? Is he talking about like a fighter with a good chin, or is he talking about just a pressure fighter who just doesn't stop coming forward? Like, I don't understand. Like, what are we talking about here? He didn't even explain the award category. I'm getting pissed off now.
Did he have another fight for the end? Oh yeah, Beneil Dariush, fluke of the year. So Benoit Saint-Denis has had a crazy year. He's bounced back pretty well. We got to give him his props. He's obviously one of the, biggest blockheads in the UFC. Got that head of a fucking Muppet, dude. We've also got Merab, right? Merab's coming in. 3 wins, only 1 loss to Piotr Jan, but before that, this guy was just emoting on everybody, coming in with that blockhead.
I genuinely think that Merab probably spent most of the year, like, in his off time from training, playing Fortnite or something. Like, the amount of emotes he'd be hitting on people was insane.
Mentality. This guy changed the game. This guy changed the meta of the UFC. I was making videos talking about the intangibles of being a blockhead, having that emo, like, blockhead mentality like Merab, just tanking shots, walking people down. I also want to throw in Brendan Allen. I think he is a very underrated blockhead. One of the goofiest fighters in the UFC. He beat Reinier Derrida. He beat Marvin Vettori. That's going to put you up really high in the blockhead goofball rankings.
Yeah, but he didn't just, like, meathead his way through RDR, though. What are we talking about?
I think Brendan Allen definitely deserves a shout out here. He's always coming in with that brick-shaped fucking head, tanking shots, walking people down, smirking like he knows something we don't while he fumbles an easy win. Shout out to Brendan Allen. And my final nominee is Diego Lopez. This guy is not human, bro. Like, this guy's chin is something else. If it came down
to... It's gonna get cracked one day. It'll get cracked one day.
Just like, how is their head shaped? This guy's winning it. Him and Zhang Mingyang are fucking, MJ and Hakeem back in the day, dude. Like, that's the type of...
I don't know. Who deserves this award here? Like, I'm thinking, like, what's going on, Emma? How's your day going? I've kind of been, like, thinking, like, BSD, beat Beneil Dariush, Kyle Prepolek, and, well, there was one other dude. Oh, Mauricio Huffy. I honestly say the blockhead's either got to be Merab or BSD, right? I mean, it could be Diego Lopez, but I think it's going to be one of these two.
Rivalry that they got going in terms of pure blockhead physiognomy or whatever the fuck. But there can only be one winner, and I think I've made a right choice here. I think Merab was the blockhead of the year. I think Merab was the MVP of 2025. If I was doing serious awards, I would say Merab.
I agree. This is crazy. I'm actually agreeing with him. We're actually getting somewhere. All right. No, I don't want to hear the yap. You guys don't want to hear the yap. We want to go into the next thing.
Mate, this is like choosing which of my kids I love the most. Type shit, dude. All right, we're going to be looking at the main character of the year on the Bedtime channel. Who carried the channel the hardest? Who was the quintessential Bedtime MMA main character? We got Joshua Van, my glorious little goat. 4 wins, getting the fucking belt, right? Cheesing it up. Just being my boy the entire year, never letting me down. We got Bobby Knuckles, the Aussie casual impression. Me getting to talk to his management, and we're working on the interview. We're working on big things. Bobby Knuckles a fan of the channel, dude. JDM, fucking well.
You know what? None of these guys have been on my channel yet, so as far as I'm concerned, don't care about none of it. Don't care.
Welterweight champion, main character of the channel. Everyone associates us two together. We won the welterweight title. We are one of the best Australian MMA fighters of all time. We did that, right? We will bounce back from the Islam loss. And of course, Leon Edwards deserves the honorable mention as well. He's in that top 4. I think Leon Edwards is so synonymous with the channel as one of like my main character rogues gallery type of guys. The that's
the pound headshot dead. My whole personality's headshot dead, and I put on boring fights.
9 awards in a row, bro. I truly believe I deserve to win the award, bro. I think I can collect it in February, March, bro. I truly believe I deserve the award. There's so many great options for this category. Like I said, this was a really hard one to choose, but I've made my decision, and I think
Yeah.
you guys will agree with me on this. JDM is the fucking main character.
Anyway. Nice, bro. Let's get to an interesting category.
And then there's the Marauder of the Year. Those are two totally different things, bro. Bro, I never said they're the same, bro. They're two totally different things. A blockhead is a way of being. A Marauder is a way of life. You can be a Marauder without being a blockhead. Look at Eamon Zahabo. This guy's a p-head. Walking dudes down with his...
Marauder has to be Yuri Prohaska, right? Eamon Zahabi, no, bro. You should have lost to Jose Aldo. BSD, possibly. Heidi Barcelos, he had the underdog performance of the year against Peyton Talbot. But I think it's gotta be Yuri, right?
Little boxing set. He's a Marauder through and through. And my nominees, I feel like every single one of these guys marauded their way through the division in 2025, walking people down, tanking big shots, right? Getting after them, getting aggressive, right? And they do get rocked. They do get tagged up a little bit. They're not pure blockheads, because you can be a technical blockhead, right? Alex Pereira is kind of a technical blockhead.
There's nothing about Yuri that's technical. There's nothing... BSD is technical. These two are kind of technical, right? But, there's nothing about Yuri that's really technical.
Max Holloway, kind of a technical blockhead. There's levels to this shit. Marauder is a mentality. Blockhead is just, you are that or you aren't that. You can fight however you want. The Marauder of the Year, we've got BSD. I mean, BSD literally does not know how to move his head, how to block a punch, how to do anything technical. He's just walking you down, spamming fucking punches and elbows. You gotta respect it. How many...
It's him or Yuri. If he goes with one of these two, I'm just gonna stop watching this video. Because anything he says will be invalid to me from this point on.
Barcelos, very underrated Marauder, but this kid is just spamming fucking takedowns. Looking like a Clash of Clans fucking goblin, walking you down, not trying to strike at all. Eamon Zahabi.
That's a weird comparison.
He's also a Marauder. He starts to get tagged up. He fucking activates that goofy ass, almost like, you know when you spar with a beginner and they start doing this shit? That's Zahabi. Zahabi's doing that to top 10 level bantamweights. Just walking them down, fucking getting after him. Eamon Zahabi's a fucking Marauder. This kid's getting tanked by Jose Aldo and Cheeto.
And should have lost that fight.
Rivera walking them down, winning those late rounds, squeaking by decision, going to war. You got to give him his props. Whatever you think about him, Eamon Zahabi has marauded his way into the top 10 at bantamweight, and I got to give him some respect. And we also have Yuri Prohaska. Let's go for that. I bring lots of crazy storm to this fight, and it was necessary.
You know what? I'm going to give you a round of applause. That was a pretty good Yuri impression. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go for that. Yuri Prohaska. What else needs to be said? He's one of the GOATs of the Marauder category. Maybe all-time level Marauder here. And there's only one man I can pick for this award. Maybe a controversial opinion, but I think Yuri Prohaska was the Marauder of the Year.
Okay, you know what? Your opinion is valid. Your opinion is valid. The only thing I want to see now is we have to now check to see his knockout of the year and the submission of the year. And underdog, potentially, if he has those. Right? Colded bad. So, yeah, okay. So, knockout of the year. Okay. Who was your guys' knockout of the year, by the way? I don't know. I actually don't know. That's tough.
Okay, and this award goes to the nastiest knockout of the year.
Okay, so we have these four here. What? Mauricio Huffy, Lerone Murphy, Quillen Selkilde, and Elliot Deporte. I'm surprised that they didn't put in Carlos Prates' knockout over Jeff Neal. But honestly, I would probably go with Mauricio Huffy's spinning heel kick. I gotta be honest. I think it's Huffy.
This is kind of our version of KO of the year, but I think a better way to frame it is you got colded bad, right? We're not talking about you got caught, you got dominated, you got colded. That's the thing that I'm going to be saying a lot more on the channel. So make sure you guys tap in with the dialect or whatever the fuck the word is, all right? Here's our nominees. Obviously, Mauricio Rufy colding Bobby Green. That has to be on here. Bobby Green, lads. Nobody talks about it, lad. He was one of me.
Is that a Paddy Pimblett impression?
The best fucking wins, you know what I mean, lads. Slept bad. Spinning wheel kick. Out cold. Look at my hands.
To King Green.
Other nominees that we've got. Aaron Picto getting colded by Lerone Murphy.
Yeah, but the problem is with this knockout here is the fact that Aaron Pico's untested in the UFC. We don't know how good he is yet. So this knockout can either age like milk or age like wine. It's going to go in one of two ways.
I mean, dude, what needs to be said? Aaron Picto. Who does that? to Aaron Pico, the Bellator superstar. Lerone Murphy, this
Bellator superstar, not UFC superstar, Bellator superstar.
kid is a young, hungry prospect with a twinkle in his eyes, and he went out there, he dared to be great, he dared to dream, and he managed to pull off a
And he was PC up Lerone Murphy before that knockout. I don't know why people don't ever acknowledge that.
spinning elbow. One of the nastiest KOs of the year. I mean, all of these were fucking brutal. Any one of these, I think you could realistically pick as the KO of the year or the colded bad of the year.
I don't think it's the Ilia Topuria Charles Oliveira one, because Charles Oliveira did not have... He just doesn't have a great chin. I've been saying this for a long time. He's got a great heart, but his durability, his chin is just not there. He gets rocked and dropped so often that Ilia Topuria knocking him out was kind of to be expected.
Award. We've also got fucking Quillen Sauerkind whipping up that bloody head kick like he's Bobby Knuckles, flatlining
They own a bakery.
Nasrat Haqparast in the first round. Absolutely fucking insane.
You know what's crazy about that knockout too? Was the fact that before it happened, I was sitting there thinking, like, Quillen does not look super technical to me. Like, I'm watching him strike, and it's just not coming together super well. He's trying to force takedowns too much. It didn't seem like he was really super technical. And for what I saw, I don't have the highest hopes for him as of right now, but he does have immense KO power, so we do have to give him that.
And of course, we have to add a little bit of CGI. Ilia Topuria colding Charles Oliveira badly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like
that
a
didn't
live
happen.
leak video.
That never happened, right? We did not see Charles Oliveira get knocked out. We did not see that happen.
Dude. I said it when he KO'd Max. This one's genuinely worse than when he KO'd Max. It's like watching Ilia KO my fucking...
Yeah, because Max wasn't even out cold. Not to my recollection at least. I don't think he was out cold. Charles was out cold. Like, this was almost as scary as when Tony Ferguson got front kicked by Michael Chandler.
Fucking uncle or something, dude. Like, it's like watching Ilia KO my dad. Like, it felt so painful. It hurt to watch. Charles is just laying there, just staring up. Why did it have to happen like this? I don't know, but these are the nominees for the...
No matter who won that fight, I think it was going to be a bit sad.
Colded bad of the year moment. And of course, there is only one winner. Like I said, I think any single one of those knockouts, you could realistically say is the knockout of the year. They're all fucking nasty, bro. They all have different things.
Pick one already.
Crazy.
Quit yapping.
I'm looking at what was the most holy shit, he's dead. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't as expected as maybe some of the other ones.
No, it's going to be Hoofy versus Green.
And how insane the highlight reel was. I think it's Lerone Murphy, dude.
No. What the? Nah, bro. Nah. You think it's Lerone Murphy knocking out a UFC debuting Aaron Pico, who was getting pieced up, right? That knockout happened because Aaron Pico did an ill-advised sidestep without actually setting anything up. He basically walked into a knockout shot. It's not knockout of the year. No. Mauricio Hoofy's was way cleaner.
I picked Lerone Murphy to win by decision, okay? And I know Aaron Pico is kind of chinny, but you gotta understand that watching this live, I think this was the most shocking one out of all the other ones. Mauricio Rufy versus Bobby Green, we knew Bobby was getting slipped, bro.
Did we know that, though? Did we? Not from that close a range. Anyway, is there a Submission of the Year award? No. All right. That's that. Kind of a mid video, to be honest. But let's move on to the next one. In my opinion, it was not a good pick. No, I don't think so. But, here, let me turn this off for a second here. So, I got requested to watch Casual Take MMA's top 15 strikers. Alright. The real top 15 strikers in the UFC. This was made as of 4 months ago. Go subscribe to Bedtime MMA. Actually, you know what? Let me click subscribe on there. There we go.
What is going on, guys? After seeing Kenya Koye's top 15 strikers in the UFC list, guys, we reacted to it on a live stream, okay? And I wasn't planning on doing this. Y'all suggested we react to it, so I did. And it frustrated me, okay? The list was very interesting, to say the least, so...
This is one of those things, it's a very hard list to make.
I'm going to put the real top 15 best strikers in the UFC out there, guys, because the list was... It was crazy, okay? Let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with 11 through 15. We're not going to go into too much detail, but 11 through 15.
Islam Makhachev, DDP, John Silva, Sean Strickland, Ciryl Gane. Okay. How do I say this politely? That is not a good start. I don't think. Right. Ciryl Gane looks really good because he's a heavyweight, and he is more technical than other heavyweights who only rely on power. Sean Strickland, okay. I'm not angry at it. John Silva, I'm not angry at it. But Dricus du Plessis, I don't know. He's got goofy striking, to say the least. Islam Makhachev, the only reason why Islam has as much success as he does on the feet is due to the wrestling threat. If we were to take like the Alexander Volkanovski fight, turn that into a kickboxing or Muay Thai fight, right? Or if he's to fight JDM in a Muay Thai fight, is he going to win? The chances are much, much lower.
Here they are, man. Here they are. 11, we have Islam Makhachev. Now listen, some of y'all are going to say Islam should be top 5, maybe top 7.
No! I'd be screeching if you put him in the top 7. I would break my microphone from screaming so loud if you even dared to put him in the top 7.
I hear you. I do hear you, because on paper, Islam Makhachev has outstruck Volk twice.
With the wrestling threat.
Outstruck Dustin Poirier, dropped and then finished Charles Oliveira. He has, okay? He really has. But guys, when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking, let's assume this is a pure kickboxing match, pure striking match,
Yeah.
no takedowns involved. And you might say, well, Islam outstruck Volk without even taking him down, guys. Listen.
There's a threat of the takedown. This is what people don't understand about fighting. If you're so worried that your opponent is going to dive at your crotch literally any second, you are not going to be in any position to be throwing big power bombs because you're going to be worried about him diving at the hips. People don't understand it, though.
This is the thing you don't understand. Even the thought, the threat of the takedown at all.
Boom! Jay Bursman.
Even if that's in the back of your mind, it affects.
I think 11 is too generous still.
The striking game, I promise you. But we're not going to build a whole criteria list like Kenny did, but I'm going based off my opinion, guys. Obviously, my opinion is 100% correct, so don't disagree with me in the comments. It's pretty useless, but we're going.
He heard me laugh. You guys saw that. I literally started giggling. Him. Why are you mocking me? Why are you mocking me? I don't appreciate that.
No.
I'm not even gonna listen.
Striking,
no.
But
Again,
it's all opinionated. I'm sure you're going to
fine.
disagree with
I
me
guess
in the
I'll
comments.
watch.
But on to number 12, we have Dricus du Plessis, who was in Kenny's top 3.
This is why we're not watching Kenny. Kenny's tapes are abysmal, bruv. Oh my gosh, that is such a terrible. I don't even want. Can I unhear that?
Now, Dricus du Plessis is a great striker. He'll tell you himself, though, that he's not the best striker in the UFC.
No, because it's MMA. DDP is pretty well-rounded. I know the Hamzat fight's going to make people think DDP is not well-rounded. DDP fought by a poor game plan. I'm not saying he wins in a rematch, but if he knows that Hamzat will fight like that, he will probably fight with the more sense of urgency in the rematch. DDP's threat of the takedown most of the time is also enough to kind of thwart fighters off, as well as just his goofiness.
DDP has such a goofy, goober, awkward style, but it works. Very
Oh, wait, shoot. Sorry. Yeah, like that, what I said.
Effective. Dricus is a guy that does not pass the eye test whatsoever, but he's a very, very effective striker. But we've seen him get outstruck. We've seen him get beat on the feet before. That's just the sad reality.
Darren Till was beating him on the feet. Izzy was having success on the feet. Sean Strickland pieced him up with a jab. I don't know. I think that DDP's takedowns added to that factor.
Reality of it. But the thing is, I want to throw this out there right now. People say styles make fights, which is very, very true. But at the same time, that does not just mean striker versus grappler. Different types of strikers, stylistically, may determine the outcome. Okay,
That's
just because
100% true, right? Sometimes you have a striker who's really long and rangy, and you have another striker who struggles with that range and has to be able to get inside somehow. And it's a very tough stylistic matchup. Styles make fights. I'll give you a prime example: Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is a tough stylistic matchup for Conor because Conor could not knock Nate out, and also because Nate is a long, tall southpaw, which historically gives someone like Conor problems, as well as a cardio machine, an absolute tank, and a block of a head. So it's going to be hard for Conor to beat someone like Nate, despite him being much more skilled. Styles make fights, even in striker versus striker, and in grappler versus grappler.
I know this is going to sound crazy. Everybody's going to get their feathers ruffled.
Oliveira wasn't worried about the takedown, and Islam cooked him on the feet. Well, Oliveira's striking defense is also very reckless. It's very irresponsible. Like, it's not... No one's ever said that Charles Oliveira's got good striking defense. He gets rocked and dropped often, right? Like, Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje. Like, he gets rocked and dropped often, right? Islam having the ability to do that as well is not overly surprising.
But just because somebody outstrikes somebody else does not always mean they're the better striker. Now, more often than not, sure. But just remember that, okay, guys?
It depends on if you're talking technically speaking on who has more technique, if that's what you're going off of.
Let's keep it going. On to 13, John Silva. This one's very tough.
John Silva's a better striker than Islam. He is. I know it's become very common to hate on Gene Silva, but he is a better striker than Islam. Pure striking, 100%.
John Silva passes the eye test with flying colors, guys. Effective striking. He's mixing skill and power. John Silva, the only reason I don't have him higher is just because the level of competition that he's fought, it hasn't been proven at the highest level. He has not fought an elite striker yet, but he's piecing up everybody he's fighting. He's bullying. He's bullying fighters on the feet. He's making Bryce Mitchell look like he shouldn't even be in the UFC. He is busting up Drew Dober, man. People forget about Drew Dober, man. But John Silva is busting him up.
Was this made before the Diego Lopez fight? It was. Okay.
And the doctors had to stop the fight. But I could see an argument of John Silva being higher. We'll see how he does against Diego Lopez, who's not.
Gene was cracking Diego Lopez when they fought. That's what I've been saying, man. But people don't want to give John Silva credit. It's so... Okay, I'm going to get into a rant here, right? How quickly MMA fans switch up on him. He was literally so loved when fighting Bryce Mitchell. He became the good guy. He became the hero because people don't like Bryce Mitchell. And then as soon as he loses to Diego Lopez, he's fraud checked, da-da-da-da-da. To say he was fraud checked would imply that Diego Lopez himself is a fraud or he is not good. Diego Lopez just has a block of a head. If he had Volkanovski's chin, he would have been put to sleep in that fight. I guarantee it.
An elite striker himself, but he's a good striker. So we'll have to just see with John Silva. Same thing with Mauricio Rufy, guys. Creative striker, looks like a prime Conor McGregor. Based on the eye test, we just haven't seen it proven against elite competition. He knocked out Bobby Green, man. Everybody knocks out Bobby Green, okay? John Silva and Mauricio Rufy both have an argument for the top 15. I think it's just too early, okay? 14, we have Sean Strickland. Does not pass the eye test, but he's very, very good. Now, remember what I said with, stylistic matchups on the feet?
This is one of those DDP and Sean Strickland thing where the style favors DDP because he throws more power shots, where Sean Strickland's very responsible, throwing lots of jabs and teeps and trying to keep safe distance.
Dricus du Plessis, 50-45 Strickland on the feet. But Strickland also outstruck Israel Adesanya on the feet. But then when Dricus du Plessis and Izzy fought, Izzy was getting the better on the feet, guys. Y'all see what I'm saying? So how is Strickland outstriking Izzy, but Izzy's outstriking Dricus? It doesn't make sense, guys. I'm telling you. Styles make fights.
Exactly.
But Strickland is a great striker, don't get me wrong. The jab and the teep, man, it's crucial. It's crucial. At 15, I got Cyril Gane. I really debated between him and Tom Aspinall. Who's the better striker? We're going to find out.
Cyril Gane is the better striker. I don't disagree with that. I don't think a heavyweight should be in the top 15, though. They're just not as technical. It's very obvious.
Saturday night. We're going to find out at UFC 321, man. I'm excited for that fight a little bit. I am sort of excited for that fight because I'm ready to see Aspinall back in there. And I want to see who's the best striker in the heavyweight division now. I could definitely
We all know it's Derek Lewis. Come on, that's a bunch of crap.
See a world where Aspinall just takes him down straight away. Twists him into a pretzel, gets an early submission. That's probably what's going to happen. But Cyril Gane's a more technical striker. I will say that. But in terms of effectiveness, it's hard to argue against Tom Aspinall because, he's been knocking everybody out within the first minutes.
Okay. So we could skip forward to the top 10.
Number 10, yes, Israel Adesanya, but Strickland outstruck him. He did.
But in my opinion, Izzy is a better striker than Strickland. I also don't think that was prime Izzy. I don't. Champion Israel Adesanya is not the best version of Izzy. It's contender Izzy. We all know that this is true, right? Look at when he fought DDP. He fought a lot better than he did against Strickland. Against Izzy, he was fighting kind of gun-shy the whole time. Even before he got dropped, he's fighting kind of gun-shy, almost like he was afraid to lose or something. Like, he didn't want to lose the belt. He wasn't fighting to win. He was fighting not to lose.
He did, man. Israel Adesanya is still at my number 10, guys. Like I said, that is
You have to collab with Casual Take MMA if he wants to do it. Sure, let's do it. I'm down.
a nightmare matchup for Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
Also,
Because of the fact that... Okay, I'm going to explain why Sean Strickland is a nightmare matchup for Izzy. So, first of all, Sean Strickland has very good striking defense, and Israel Adesanya is not a combination striker. In order to hit someone like Sean Strickland, you have to be throwing combinations, boom, 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 right? Lots of combos, whereas Izzy's more of a jab, leg kick, head kick, right hand, uppercut. Like, he's very much a sniper from a distance. And if you're throwing one shot at a time against someone like Sean Strickland, he's going to see that coming. Even the leg kicks. Sean Strickland was able to make the adjustment between his fight against Abus Magomedov and Israel Adesanya to where he was able to now be able to check the leg kicks. He worked on that. And once that hole got plugged, his defense became that much more effective because it was always a weakness of his, leg kicks. But fighting Izzy, you're going to need that striking defense. So I think that against someone like Israel Adesanya's specific style of just pure sniping, not really throwing combinations, was always going to be difficult to hit someone like Sean Strickland, who is so defensively responsible. You have to throw combinations and power shots all 5 rounds against someone like Sean Strickland. That's in my opinion.
just because a fighter beats a fighter does not always mean that they're the better fighter. Now, again, more often than not, it does. But even if you look at Adesanya versus Imavov, Adesanya won round 1 on the feet, which that's not the say-all, be-all, get-all, however you say it, but Adesanya won the first round. He was ahead on the scorecards. He was outstriking Imavov up to that point. And
he got caught because Izzy's chin isn't as good as it used to be. It happens. It's a fight. Izzy could win a rematch. You just never know.
Got caught in the second round. And then rewind to the Dricus du Plessis fight. Israel Adesanya was building into the fight, and on the feet, he looked better than Dricus du Plessis. Ultimately, DDP did get him down and get the submission victory.
And I think he rocked Izzy in the stand-up and then took him down and submitted him. That's what I think.
I still believe Israel Adesanya is the better striker. Now, Izzy, in his prime, would be way higher than 10, in my opinion, but...
Yeah, I agree.
Guys, he can't win a fight. He cannot win a fight. He's 1-4 in his last 5. Izzy's my favorite fighter. Y'all know that. But, man, it's hard to put him up at the top, man. He's getting not just beaten, but he's getting finished. Izzy has lost a step, unfortunately. He's getting older. The striking defense seems to be the problem. He's still pretty...
I also think that, there's a lot of footage out there now in Izzy, so people know how he fights. I'm telling you, I'm convinced Israel Adesanya's problem is it's mental. It's a mental thing. I think beating Alex Pereira was like the final goal of his career. That was the only thing he had left to prove. Now he doesn't really have anything left to prove, so I wonder if his motivations are still there. I wonder if his mental is still there after finally beating his longtime rival. That's just a theory, but that's what I think.
Fast for the division. He's obviously got that crazy long reach that he uses very well. Izzy, I still believe to be a top 10 striker, but he's barely hanging on at this point. Until I see something different, until I see Adesanya, go and get his revenge against Strickland or piece up Apollo Costa, I can't...
He would piece up Paulo Costa.
Put him too high, man. That's just a sad reality. Moving on to number 9, we have Magomed Ankalaev. Now, before you freak out, but Magomed Ankalaev outstruck Alex Pereira. Yes, he did. Remember what I said earlier, okay? Magomed Ankalaev is a great striker, don't get me wrong. I think he's top 10. I think he's one of the best boxers, probably the best boxer in the light heavyweight division. He's very...
But the wrestling threat plays a factor. That's what he's going to say.
Very fast. He's very, very skilled. But like I said, styles make fights because Magomed Ankalaev went out there. Yes, he did outstrike Pereira. You can say that the thread of the takedown was there. I believe it was. But not only that, Magomed Ankalaev also got outstruck by Jan Blachowicz, and Jan Blachowicz got outstruck by Alex Pereira. So these striking matches are not always cherries and lemons, man. So
cherries and lemons? I've never heard that one before. Oh, man.
Magomed Ankalaev is in my top 10.
Bro's even laughing at me again. Why does he keep mocking me? Now you're starting to make me angry.
He's a sniper on the feet. He's very, very skilled, very, very fast. That's one of his biggest things for me in the light heavyweight division is his speed, also his accuracy. But Magomed Ankalaev is at the number 9. Moving on to number 8.
Volk as low as number 8? Are we crazy? Volk's top 5, right? That is crazy to me, man.
Volkanovski's still in the top 10, man. I thought about this hard. I really thought about this.
Right now, after the rematch with Alex, Ankalaev is maybe number 10 or number 12-ish. I think that Magomed Ankalaev is technically similar or on par or even potentially superior in certain aspects than Alex Pereira. But the thing that bridges the two is the power. I think that Magomed Ankalaev has good defense. He was defending most of the shots when Pereira was really aggressive. Then he landed one big right hand, because eventually you're going to land. And he hurt Magomed Ankalaev and dropped him. Or he didn't drop him, Magomed shot a sloppy takedown, but, he was defending very well. I think he's more technical in certain aspects than Pereira.
Volk outside of my top 10. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, man.
No, he's top 5. Are we insane? We haven't seen anything to say that he doesn't have it. He got knocked out because of his chin. He didn't get, he gets caught. It's a fight. Stuff happens. But he's still one of the best strikers.
Volkanovski. Now, again, this is kind of similar to the case with Israel Adesanya, except for Volk just had a striking masterclass in his last fight. But Volkanovski is not the same as he was in his prime. Now, Volkanovski's still good. He's obviously still good enough to win the title. But Volk has slightly lost a step. And
based off what?
His chin is a little sus, which some people don't factor in.
It's always been sus, right? I said this back before he fought Islam the first time. When he was fighting Max Holloway the third time in the Korean Zombie, I said Volkanovski's chin is very suspect. Getting dropped by Max Holloway twice by one shot is not a good look. I said that back then. I got clowned on, and now people are jumping on the hype train.
Chin in terms of striking, but if you getting knocked out, that's part of the striking game. But anyway, Volkanovski, I'm not saying his chin's completely washed, no. But his striking defense, guys, y'all know, everybody talks about it. He pulls back with his head straight up in the air, with his chin up in the air. That's not the best visual when it gets him caught. It's got him caught before. But Volkanovski is still a phenomenal striker. Exceptional footwork. He's too fast for you. In and out, stick and move type of fighter is Volkanovski. Popping the jab, you know what it is.
And the leg kicks.
He doesn't have any power, and some people say they don't factor in power when they're, factoring who's the best striker, which I think is very, very dumb. Because once again, if you're knocking somebody out, your striking must be pretty effective. Volkanovski does not have power like that, but he is very effective. Sort of a point fighter. People don't want to admit it, but Volkanovski still...
He's a point fighter, but he's an entertaining point fighter. He's not going, No, he's putting pop in his shots, right? But his opponents can just take his shots. He's very quick. And he's got a lot of cardio. He's kind of got that slow twitch muscle fibers. That's what it is.
Great fighter. Still very...
MVP's top 10? We'll see.
Fast. He's just...
You guys think he puts MVP top 10?
Slowing down a little bit. Not something crazy. He's not washed, obviously, because he's a champion, but he's still good enough to be a top 10 striker of all time, but I don't have him in my top 5 anymore. I got Volkanovski at the 8. Moving on.
Okay. You think JDM's a better striker than Alexander Volkanovski? That is wild. Take it back right now. Take it back. That's egregious.
JDM. Jack Della Maddalena, guys, he's legit. He is legit. And I think we're going to see his striking on display against Islam.
Ooh. We should probably cut that part out.
Super excited for that fight. I don't know who I'm picking yet. That honestly could be...
I don't know. It's going to be a close fight. Either Islam's going to control in half guard for 23 minutes until at 50-45, or JDM's going to look like he's crying in the corner the whole time. Take your pick.
Fight of the year. But JDM, 18-fight win streak, by the way, let me remind you. JDM has never been outstruck. Now, on the striking...
He did kind of get outstruck by Islam, mostly by the leg kicks, but there wasn't really a lot of striking to go off of either, so I don't really count it for much.
Total, sure. Kevin Holland landed more strikes than JDM. That's the only fighter to do so, as far as I'm concerned. JDM still won the fight, and the fight was 100%. The whole fight was on the feet, but JDM still won. Guys, I want to throw this out there as well. Some people, Kenny says that one of his criteria is strike totals.
What? Bro, can we just ban Kenny from the MMA community, man? I didn't know who this guy was until, a week or two ago or something like that. All I hear is complete nonsense. Petr Yan would lose to Alexander Topuria right now. Petr Yan is the most overrated fighter. Strike totals matter when you talk about the best striker of all time. No, it doesn't. Brandon Royval throws how many strikes? Does it make him the best striker? No! Oh my gosh.
I don't think that's valid. I do not think that's valid because you have some fighters that are more active, more volume strikers like a Max Holloway, for example, and you also have fighters who are more precise and more what's the word? Patient, I guess, with their shot selection. Jack Della Maddalena, yes, he landed 20 less strikes than Kevin Holland, but he landed the more effective strikes and he won the fight. Also,
I would love to see Casual Take MMA and Kenny Oki have a debate. Come on, who wouldn't like to see that? Let's make it happen. Let's get a petition going. Let's make it happen.
so Kevin Holland had an 8-inch reach advantage on Jack Della. Just want to throw that out there as well. JDM's never been outstruck. He's never been outstruck. He's on an 18-fight win streak. And the thing is, he's not even having these close fights on the feet. I'm talking just on the feet with these fighters. Bilal Muhammad, that fight was very, very close. But if you look at just the stand-up,
I wouldn't even say it was very, very close. I wouldn't even say that.
JDM beat him up bad. Just look at Bilal Muhammad's face after the fight. He was wearing the damage on.
Like, JDM was landing the more impactful shots than Bilal Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad has pillow fists. Bilal Muhammad is the only person I've ever seen. I don't know if you guys agree with this or not. Bilal Muhammad's the only fighter I've ever seen to make a finish boring. His finish over Sean Brady was so boring. Nah.
His face bad.
Kenny says Usman will beat Islam. I think a prime Usman would. This Usman? No. Watch Kenny predicting every champion by the end of 2026. I'll shave my head.
JDM,
If he gets every single champion correct, I'll shave my head.
has an argument for the best boxer in the UFC. He's so fluid. He switches stances so effortlessly. He's able to fight out of both stances as well. Good counter striker, good pressure fighter when he wants to be. JDM's very, very good, man. His kicks are also underrated. He's not, he's more well known for his boxing, but his kicks are there if he needs them, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to number 6.
MVP. Whoever said that that MVP is gonna be top 6? You, Emmett? Pre-watch. You pre-watch this. You cheated. This isn't fair. You already know the list.
Michael Venom Page. Listen, guys. MVP has a real argument to be honest.
There's a reason why whenever people fight MVP, they immediately turn into collegiate wrestlers. Just immediately, just crotch sniffing them for 15 or 25 minutes. Ian Gary turned into DC in that octagon and arguably lost that fight. Just saying.
Honestly, I would say in the top 3. And why do I say that? No, MVP is not, popping these crazy combinations.
He is a prime example, though. MVP is a prime example of being an effective striker without there being super high volume. Hear that, Kenny? Not super high volume.
Man. But Michael Venom Page, I don't think he's ever been outstruck in his entire career. Not just the UFC, but prior to the UFC.
No, I don't think so.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I know he's got caught before.
He got knocked out by Douglas Lima, whatever, but he wasn't getting outstruck, and then he beat him in the rematch. So I wouldn't say he gets, outstruck throughout the course of fights to a decision. No. He got knocked out one time and avenged that loss.
But Michael Venom Page has such a awkward style, it's hard to gauge, and nobody has been able to figure him out on the feet. Am I right or am I wrong? Michael Venom Page, like I said, if there's no takedowns involved, obviously the path to beating Michael Venom Page is to take him down and smudge him up, probably submit him. His grappling is not elite, okay? But his striking is. He's outstriking Shar Bullet, man. He's outstriking Ian Gary. These are good strikers. Kevin Holland, not close. But the thing is, MVP,
dominate him.
Not a volume striker at all.
But that's what I just said. I didn't pre-watch. Now you can accuse me of pre-watching, whatever. But, MVP is not a volume striker.
He'll probably land 5 significant strikes in a single round, but he's not getting hit. That's MVP's whole game, is that he stays so far away from you, bouncing up and down. He's impossible to hit, guys. Striking defense is another thing that needs to be factored in. Now, MVP does not have the style to, he's not going to hit you with 200 significant strikes. He's just not.
No, he's going to hit you with 50, but they're all going to be power bombs.
He's going to dart in with a 1-2, maybe just a bomb of a right hand, and then he's going to go back to range. Like I said, MVP is impossible to hit. The only way to beat Michael Venom Page is that either you catch him and time him when he comes in on the inside or take him down. There's no way that Michael Venom Page just gets outstruck on the feet via points. It's not a real thing.
It doesn't happen.
Otherwise, it's not a real thing. I think MVP
at the age of 37, can I add?
Case to be even higher, man. I know he's
possibly 38.
Different style. That's what people don't like. Or that's why people don't respect him and put him at the top, because he's a different style. He's not a traditional kickboxer. But Michael Venom Page, I don't see anybody outstriking him on the feet. So with that being said, MVP is at my 6. Moving on to 5, we got
Petr Yan at number 5? No, I disagree. I think that Petr Yan should be top 3. I think guys like him, Ilya Topuria, Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, and then put in at number 5 whoever you want. But like Petr Yan has got to be higher than 5, right?
Petr Yan. Petr Yan is so beautiful, so
I think after the Marab fight, I bet he would change this list. That's what I'll say.
technically sound, man. Yan is one of my favorite fighters to watch, especially. He might be my favorite striker to watch because it's so beautiful, so calculated. Like people say, he's just downloading data in round 1, and then he's going to let it fly in rounds 2, rounds 3, 2 through 5, man. Petr Yan's so beautiful to watch. He can switch stances very
Oh, even like a Sean O'Malley type or a Corey Sandhagen even. Like, they're in this conversation as well for top 10.
effortlessly as well. Very good from southpaw, very good from orthodox. Petr Yan has outstruck a lot of good strikers. I mean, you got the proof there. He's outstruck Corey Sandhagen, Jose Aldo, Marcus McGee, Song Yadong. Very close fight with Sean O'Malley, but
I still think Petr Yan won.
he had to use the takedowns to win that fight. But either way, very, very competitive fight on the feet. Petr Yan, phenomenal striker. Some people have him in the top 3, and I respect it. I have him in the top 5. The only ways that we've seen Petr Yan lose a fight is either you bait him into throwing an illegal knee, or he lost to a very, very tough matchup, very rangy striker in Sean O'Malley.
I saw a comment about this. I don't know who said it, so whoever did, you could take credit, and I believe you. But Petr Yan doesn't usually lose because he's the less technical fighter. He usually loses due to attributes and athleticism, or like height, reach, pacing, whatever. He doesn't necessarily. He's never lost because he hasn't been the more technical fighter, or that he hasn't been the better skilled fighter.
And then obviously he lost to Marab. I mean, Marab's beating everybody, but Petr Yan is legit, man. Again,
I think that you could argue Petr Yan's the best striker in the UFC. Right, in my opinion, you could argue. I'm not saying he is. I'd have to think about it. But like, who's over him? I think he's better. I think he's a better striker than Ilia Topuria. I think he's much more technical, much more well-rounded. Imagine that fight if they were the same size. Like, imagine a lightweight size Petr Yan against Ilia Topuria. Oh, that would feed families. That would feed families.
Don't get me salivating and fantasizing about the trips that this man has, but that's not part of the striking game. But it's valid as well. Let's move on to number 4. I have Max Holloway.
Is Max Holloway a better striker than Petr Yan? I don't know. You're having him as a better striker right now than Alexander Volkanovski as well. I don't know. I don't think he's a better striker than Petr Yan. No. I think he's got good volume, but I don't think he's a better striker now. Especially with this current, blitzing in and out kind of style. It's more effective in terms of not taking as much damage. But, I think Petr Yan's a better striker than Max Holloway.
Guys, I've been saying this before the Dustin Poirier fight. Max Holloway at 155 is the best version of Max Holloway we have ever seen.
I don't disagree with that necessarily. He looks very good against Justin Gaethje. For the majority of the time against Gaethje and against Poirier. He gets clipped in the lightweight division, he gets dropped, whatever. But he gets back up. But Max Holloway's looked good, but I still don't think he's as good as Petr Yan, in my opinion. You have Poatan at number 1. Poatan is not the best striker in the UFC. If you take Alex Pereira and you put him in the lightweight division, or you put him in the featherweight or the bantamweight division, with his exact style, he's going to get cooked.
Part of me wishes that Holloway would have jumped up to 55 a little bit earlier in his career before he got his chin cracked by Topuria. With that being said, does that mean his chin is gone? No. He's shown that he can still absorb shots from a heavy hitter like Dustin Poirier. But his chin is slightly declining. But Max Holloway, if we're talking about speed, precision, and now power, he has it all. And you want to throw in volume as well. He's not as much of a volume striker as he was back in the day.
No, he's not. He's become much more technical, much more of an outside rangy fighter, but with really good blitzes. But yeah, he is still a high volume striker, but not as high. He's tapered off the offense a little bit and uses cardio to be able to be more effective using his footwork. I like it.
And that's what I love about Max Holloway. I think he has even
great adaptability.
Become a better striker as he's getting older. He's been in the game for who knows how long, 15 years almost. Guys, he developed a spinning back kick against Justin Gaethje. Max Holloway uses...
He had it against Alexander Volkanovski in the second fight as well. He's had it for a while. It just got really famous for him spinning kick, for that spinning kick against Justin Gaethje where he broke his nose.
All of his tools now. He doesn't have great leg kicks, but he has some good body kicks. He'll whip up a high kick every now and then.
Good D-stomps.
In the hands, of course, they're very sharp. Max Holloway is legit. I have him at number 4. He just outstruck Justin Gaethje. He just outstruck Dustin Poirier. They might be a little bit past their peak, but they're still great wins. And not only that, guys, I'm not trying to toot his horn on a loss, but he gave Ilia Topuria his toughest matchup, at least as of recent. Max Holloway's a great striker. I think right now,
that's true.
If he were to fight Volkanovski again, it's not really fair to say this, but at 155, Holloway beats Volkanovski.
Possibly.
I don't think that's a hot take, but Holloway, is at the 4th.
Could you imagine, by the way, we finally see that 4th fight between Volk and Holloway, just so Holloway can get his one back. He can get one back over an old Volk. It'd be like the same thing like Izzy beating Pereira one time. It's the exact same thing. But the only differences between those two types of fights is I've always said that Izzy's been more technical than Pereira. He's a much more technical striker than Alex Pereira. He is. It's just the power that really makes the difference. But when you look at what they do, technique for technique, and, shot for shot, 100% Izzy's better than Pereira. Whereas Volkanovski proved to be more technical than Holloway. But anyway, number 3, Sean O'Malley. All right, let's hear it.
4. Sean O'Malley's at 3, guys. Sean O'Malley, how is Sean O'Malley not a top 15 striker? If you know what I'm talking about.
No, he is. The thing is with Sean O'Malley's very, basic with everything he does. He doesn't have a wide array of attacks. His striking's used very simply. 1-2, good uppercut, really good feints, amazing footwork, amazing ability to switch stance, an amazing knee, some spinning kicks and stuff. But he's not going raw, hook, big body shots or whatever. No, it's very basic. 1-2, front kick, some spinning stuff. But he doesn't chop down your legs. He doesn't just thrash your body with heavy kicks. No, he uses precision, elite level feints, and elite level footwork for everything he does.
Kenny Okoye left Sean O'Malley off of his top 15 strikers in the UFC. It baffled me, okay? It baffled me. Sean O'Malley, the same guy.
Wait. I wasn't fully listening there for a second. Hold on.
Sean O'Malley off of his top 15 strikers in the UFC.
Wait. Let me go back a little bit here. I didn't fully hear what he said.
Sean O'Malley's at 3, guys. Sean O'Malley, how is Sean O'Malley not a top 15 striker? If you know what I'm talking about, Kenny Okoye.
Oh my gosh, we're talking about Kenny again? I didn't even hear him say that. I knew he was talking about someone. Gosh. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to show you guys my hair. That's pretty brutal. That'd be pretty tough right now. Kenny! Kick this guy off YouTube already, man. Kick Kenny out of here, bro. His takes are so bad.
Left Sean O'Malley off of his top 15 strikers in the UFC.
Name 15 better strikers than Sean O'Malley. You're not going to do it.
It baffled me, okay? It baffled me. Sean O'Malley, the same guy.
I feel like casual MMA really... Casual take MMA, yeah. I feel like he really does not like Kenny. I'm getting that sense. And I'm not liking him either very much right now.
Yes, very competitive fight.
Although, to be fair, Kenny could just be rage baiting.
But outstruck Petr Yan, who was, I believe, his number 2 striker in the UFC. And people are getting this wrong idea because Sean O'Malley lost to Merab twice. It's Merab. And before that, Sean O'Malley landed 230 strikes to Chito Vera's 80. That's a big deal. That's a big difference. Okay. Before that, he sniped Aljamain Sterling, who's not an elite striker by any means, but he's not a bad striker.
No, that entire fight with Aljamain Sterling still rubs me the wrong way to this very day because of the fact that Aljamain kind of implied that the UFC would strip him or something of his belt if he didn't take the Sean O'Malley fight, despite him just having fought Henry Cejudo and him not really quite wanting to make that quick turnaround. He was injured or whatever he had going on, and the UFC kind of almost coerced him or forced him into taking the fight against Sean O'Malley. That fight still rubs me the wrong way.
At all. He doesn't just get slimed out like that. But Sean O'Malley, I love how he uses his range. He can be a volume striker when he wants to be. When he wants to be, he can be a counter striker. You pick your poison with O'Malley unless you're Merab. You're probably getting shanned on the feet or getting beat up. Like I said, him and Petr Yan had a very close fight. I honestly think Yan won the fight. But without the 6 takedowns that Yan landed, O'Malley was winning the exchanges on the feet. Now, sure, Petr Yan definitely had his moments, but all in all, just on the feet, Sean O'Malley won the fight. But
he got the better of the strike in the feet. I'll say that. I will say that. I think Petr Yan struggles a lot against long, rangy fighters. It could just be Sean O'Malley, but that's what I gathered from that.
I have O'Malley at my 3. I'm not mad if you think he's 2, maybe even 1.
Who is number 2 and number 1? Who's he putting number 2 and number 1? Wait, that's a good question. Ilia Topuria, And who? Who else would be the other one? Ooh.
I'm not going to put him 1. I think 3 is a good spot based on the 2 people that are above him. Moving on to 2.
No. Alex Pereira's not number 2. I'm sorry to say it, he's not. Peter Yan's a better striker than him. Sean O'Malley is a better striker than him. Max Holloway's a better striker. Like, technically speaking, they're better strikers. They are. If you factor in power, let's say Pereira fought the exact same way at lightweight, featherweight, bantamweight, welterweight even, he would get beat up pretty bad. I think I could think of quite a few people who are better strikers than Pereira. People will say, I hate Alex Pereira. It's not that I hate him, right? I don't dislike him. I like watching Alex fight. But if we're being realistic, his defense is so lackluster, right? But he has a good enough chin to tank shots. He has a good enough chin to take the shots and keep coming forward. That is what it is. Durability does play a big factor. His power does play a big factor, right? He's got good leg kicks. I will give him that. His leg kicks are really good. His boxing is extremely lackluster. A lot of what he does is off the leg kicks and his ability to land the left hook on opponents. I think that Izzy is a more skilled striker. I think he is. There's quite a few strikers who I can name that are better, in my opinion.
Yes, guys. Alex Pereira is still a top 2 striker in the UFC. Top 3 at the very least.
Is he going to put Ilya at number 1? I guess he has to.
I know he just got outstruck by Magomed Ankalaev, guys. Remember what I was saying. Styles make fights. Alex Poatan Pereira, let's not just forget all of the work that he's done before that. That's the thing that's wrong with UFC fans is a fighter can go on a historic run, and then the very next fight they lose, even a competitive fight, and everybody just thinks they're washed or they were never.
That is one thing about MMA fans, and boxing fans do this too, that really bother me, is the fact that the second you lose, you ain't nothing until you win again, then people jump on your hype train.
Never actually that good. Let me read you Alex Pereira's recent opponents prior to Magomed Ankalaev, okay? Khalil Roundtree, who a lot of people think is an elite striker.
Khalil Roundtree, Yuri
dealt with him in
Prohaska,
significant
Jamal
striking,
Hill,
okay, and eventually put
Yuri
him away.
Prohaska,
Before that, Yuri Prohaska,
Yablahowicz,
the second fight.
Izzy.
We know how that went, okay? Alex
I already beat him to the punch. He's slow. Anyway.
Pereira, 38 strikes to 7 for Yuri. Put him away at the very start of round 2. And then if you look before that, yes, Jamal Hill, who before the Alex Pereira fight was a former champion, good striker. People thought he was a really good striker. What did Pereira do?
Turns out he's not.
He embarrassed him on the feet.
Yeah.
And then before that again, he knocked out Yuri Prohaska the first time. And Yuri had to wrestle in that fight. Guys, go before that. He beat Jan Blachowicz by split decision, but Jan Blachowicz, again, had to wrestle. Now, just because Magomed Ankalaev beat Alex Pereira does not necessarily mean that he's a better striker than Poatan.
I think Magomed Ankalaev is a more technical striker, but I think that, like I said before, it's the power gap that makes a difference. If Pereira had average power, he would be a lot less successful. That is the best way I could possibly frame it. But then again, people will say, well, he would change his style if he had average power. But that's not the conversation. The conversation is him based on technical ability and how much does he rely on his power to get to where he is. He has the power, right? He has the power. I'm not taking that away from him. But let's be honest, he does rely on it. It's not necessarily a technique thing. It's more of a genetic gift type of thing.
We'll have to see what happens in the rematch. But I still have Big Ank in my top 10. I'm not trying to disrespect him. But Pereira is a much more complete striker. Now, Ankalaev definitely has the speed, maybe even has the boxing. But when we're looking at just who's the better striker, it's Alex Pereira. I'm telling you, even the thought of a takedown coming your way changes the game.
It does. I agree with that.
Tom Pereira is on the pressure. That's a bad man. Alex Pereira is a very, very good kickboxer. And not only that, guys, yes, power does hold weight. Pereira's finishing everybody outside of Ankalaev, but Pereira.
No, I agree that power does play a factor. But when I'm thinking about strikers, and I think about like pound for pound status and such, if everyone was the same size, Pereira would not be top 10. I don't think. I think guys like Sean O'Malley would probably get the better. Obviously, unless the leg kicks take over. I think Peter Yan stylistically would absolutely school Alex Pereira. I think Ilya Topuria would beat him too. Like, I think that, like, if they were all the same size, I think that guys like Peter Yan, Ilya Topuria, like, they would absolutely style him. Even, like, Alex Pereira, or even Israel Adesanya. Izzy was undersized in comparison to Poatan. But, you know, I think if they were the exact same size, I think Izzy wins every time.
Might be the pound for pound.
Just wait till Zone exposes and retires Poetan. No. Poetan would chin me. I'm not saying that at all. But, like, I do think that Poetan's striking's overrated.
Hardest hitter in the UFC. It's either him or it's this guy.
There we go. Okay. Fair enough. Ilia Topuria number 1. Fair enough.
He's at my number 1, and that is Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria, I mean, I don't know what else you want him to do. Ilia Topuria is the best striker in the UFC, and yes, he doesn't throw many kicks. He'll throw a leg kick every now and then.
And it's a good leg kick, too. I don't think he's thrown one body kick or one leg kick since he's entered the UFC. Think about that one. That's actually an insane stat to think about. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for this video here. I don't really think that there's much else to say. But, you know, let's move on to the next one. What do you guys want me to react to next? I'm trying to think of MMA channels off the top of my head. I don't want to watch the same channels over and over. I want to, like, spread it out a little bit. But I want you guys to, like... Yeah, if you guys have one. If you guys have one, let me know. And then you guys can get featured on the YouTube. Okay, turn that off. Kenny, bro. I'm not watching Kenny, bro. No, I'll get too angry. And also, we've been watching him a bit recently. I want to keep it fresh with the channels. I just don't know a lot of MMA channels, right? That's the only reason why I'm asking you guys, because you guys will know better than me. Hapero MMA new video. Did he post a new video? Ooh, dislikable fighters. Ooh, you guys are tempting me. You guys are... React... Oh, Lucas Tracy. There we go. I keep getting told to watch his freaking stuff. I forgot about him. I've heard that, like, he says very controversial stuff. He actually just posted a video a few hours ago. Why UFC fans are furious about Pimple versus Gaethje and why it isn't so bad after all. Okay. Thoughts on Pereira and Tracy? You're trying to wind me up. Wind me up. Oh, Lucas Tracy's GOAT list? Oh! I had heard about this. I heard it wasn't good. Let me just type in Lucas Tracy. There we go. Lucas Tracy GOAT list. It's a 45-minute long video. Okay. 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 Here's the thing. My top 20 GOAT list, Lucas Tracy. Oh, no, that's Bedtime MMA. Hold on. I got the wrong... What? Top 50. Okay. 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 The top 50 greatest MMA fighters of all time, the Ultimate UFC GOAT list. We are not watching this entire thing. Can I just preface that? We are not going to watch this entire thing. We are going to skim through as we go. And one thing I want to mention before I start this, how do you even, like, I feel like after you reach, like, top 20, I feel like it's really hard to dictate that 30 to 50 range, right? In my opinion. But we're going to watch this. You guys are going to suffer with me. I'm going to kind of skim through, do 10-hour streams. I did one 16-hour stream. That was crazy. Okay, you know what? This is already enough yapping. Why don't we get into the... Oh, yeah, the intro criteria. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to need to know the criteria going to this. Watch top 20. Okay, we'll go through the criteria first, and then we'll go top 20. That sound good? He just put random fighters 30 to 50. Okay, we'll do top 20. But I want to see the criteria. Yep. I agree. You know what? I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm just gonna let you guys catch up to this for a second. Here, let me restart this. I am so sorry. Not that you missed much anyway. I am so sorry. Okay, I got the sound. Okay, actually, let me turn on the recording. Say hi to YouTube. The top 50 greatest MMA fighters of all time, Ultimate UFC GOAT list. So we are just going to be doing the top 20, right? But we're going to go through his criteria first, all right? Let's do this. I've heard this is bad. I'm kind of anxious because I feel like this is not going to be good, but let's get into it.
It would take forever to differentiate between their resumes because things are very competitive when you get that high in the list. I'm going to do the 31 through 50 in no order. And right before we get the most important thing,
there you go.
Quality wins.
I agree.
The strength of resume of the people that you have beaten. That is the best way to determine how good fighters' wins are. And ultimately,
I agree.
I think that the best fighters on the planet have to have beaten the best fighters on the planet. And the only way to determine that is, what have those fighters done? What did their opponents accomplish in their career? So that is the most important criteria. Number 2, ratio of wins to losses.
That's a weird criteria. That's a bit of a weird one to me. Ratio of wins to losses. Like, some people count BJ Penn as a top 5 lightweight of all time, but look at his record. I don't think losses always tell the full story. Look at Randy Couture. Randy Couture's record was like what? Like, I think it was like 20 or 19 and 11. But look at who he lost against, right? If you're losing against all-time greats, I don't think it should matter as much as if you're losing to prelim scrubs. I think this is a bit of a weird criteria.
You can have some incredible quality wins, but if you've picked up a ton of losses throughout your career and you haven't necessarily established that you were dominant and that while you were in your prime, nobody was able to mess with you, I mean, that's going to hold you back a little.
I get what he means, but it's just a bit weird to me, isn't it?
A little bit.
Like, okay, then Islam can't be the GOAT because he lost to Adriano Martins. Like, do you know how stupid that sounds? Like, if one day he gets accomplished enough and Islam can't be the GOAT because he lost to a nobody, like, come on.
So again, if you are one of these fighters that has some decent quality, but while you were in your prime, nobody was beating you, that is going to be really important as well. Number 3, this is going to be a big factor in determining who's higher and who's lower when we get really high up in the top 10, in the top 5. That is, who have you lost to, and are they one of the GOATs as well? Because if we have two...
That kind of ties into the second criteria.
Two fighters that have a bunch of quality wins and a good amount of quantity wins, and that's my 4th criteria, by the way, quantity of wins. You have to have a good quantity of quality of wins is the best way to put it. Have a lot of wins in order to be the GOAT. You can't just have like 8 fights in the UFC and that's it, unless every single one of them is against another GOAT. But either way, let's say all things are equal, except for both fighters have 2 losses, but one guy lost to 2 GOATs and the other guy lost to people that weren't that amazing. That's going to be the deciding factor to determine who's better. Now, you may wonder, what about title wins? What about...
I don't think that title wins, double champ status, or anything like that. I think that stuff does matter to a certain extent, but I think it's become a bit overrated. Like, people say that double champ is really important in GOAT status. Why? What if you beat 2 of the worst divisional champions in history, right? Like Islam Makhachev, beat JDM, who some people would consider one of the worst welterweight champs in recent memory. Conor McGregor beat Eddie Alvarez to become double champion. Like, I think that there's a criteria for that, where being things like double champ and title wins, stuff like that, it matters, but it's not as important as the quality of competition you beat.
Title defenses. I do not believe that title defenses are that important. I ultimately think it comes down to who have you beaten. There are plenty of fighters that have title defenses against people that aren't that amazing.
I agree.
Whereas you have number 1 contenders or people that are ranked number 5 that have taken out 3 other ranked fighters that have really awesome resumes that are, better quality wins. And so ultimately all that matters is, what's the resume of the person you beat look like? Okay? And it was a lot easier for fighters to defend their title way back in the day because there were less fighters in the UFC. It didn't take so long to get to a belt. Now, modern era fighters have to win like 10, 11 fights to even fight for the belt to begin with. And so by the time they get there, they've already beaten a bunch of ranked fighters. And those ranked fighters are...
Most of the time. I agree with the criteria. Is there anything else in the criteria that we need to know about? No. That's it. Okay. So we're going to skip ahead up until, what, about the 20 range? You put Armin at... Oh, wait. I went a little bit too far ahead.
Ratio of wins to losses are better. And also, a lot of the losses that Dominic Cruz has are not bad losses at all. For example,
putting Israel Adesanya in the 16 to 25 range is bonkers. That is crazy. What?
Example, like his loss to Henry Cejudo where he got put out. He took that on a week's notice coming off of the couch after taking multiple years off. You know, Dominic Cruz could have never have won that fight.
You think that Dustin Poirier is greater than Izzy? You think that Charles Oliveira is greater than Izzy? I don't think I agree with that. I put Israel Adesanya at around the 11 to 15 range. I think he's greater than all these guys. But I don't know. I'd have to look at the resumes, I guess.
So I don't really look at that as that bad. The loss to Chito Vera, Dominic Cruz is an old head. So I don't think some of those losses are that bad. In his prime, he was really difficult to beat. That.
But the record matters. Those were your own words.
Cody Garbrandt loss does look really, really bad. I will say that. But still, Dustin lost to
Stylistic matchup.
Johnson. Charles Oliveira took a bunch of L's back in the day, too. So I got Dominic Cruz there. At the number 19 spot, we got...
Fedor at 19? Oh, brother! Brother! No! You have to put Fedor in that 11 to 15 range. At least number like 17, number 16. Oh my gosh.
Fedor Emelianenko. Fedor Emelianenko, even though he lost in his prime years, people think, oh, he only lost.
Who did he lose in his prime years to? You tell me who.
Lost when he was old. Dude, this guy was taking back-to-back-to-back.
2010. He was not in his prime in 2010. He was in his prime from like the year 2000 to about 2000. I don't know. Probably around the time of the Tim Sylvia fight. Maybe. But even then, people would argue he wasn't in his prime anymore at that point. Oh, this is terrible.
Brutal losses in his early 30s in Strikeforce.
Age doesn't determine prime! I'm gonna get so angry.
But Fedor Emelianenko had a legendary run. From 2002 to 2010, Fedor went 20-0 with wins over future champions like Andrei Arlovsky, Mark Coleman, Antonio Nogueira, Tim Sylvia, and Mirko Krokop. And so, for a while, this guy was on top of the world.
Yeah, that's actually a good point that you make there, Evan. Bilal Muhammad over Justin Gaethje, over Aljamain Sterling, over Figgy, over Brandon Moreno, over Frankie Edgar. Oh my gosh. Lucas Tracy's whole account's gotta be rage bait, surely. This is why I don't watch this guy, bro.
And absolutely nobody was messing with him, and that's why I have him ahead of Adesanya.
Oh, that's the video. I was hearing the whatever the background noise was.
Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, and Whitaker. Because even though Adesanya and Whitaker were at the top of their division for a while, in the middleweight division, they never proved that they were clear ahead of the pack and that they had no comp. For a while, Fedor had absolutely no competition.
I wouldn't say beating Big Nog and Mark Coleman and Kevin Randleman and, guys like that. I wouldn't say that's no comp. I would say that you're coping.
And that's what sets Fedor apart from everyone else on this list. Now, the one thing that's going to hold Fedor from being higher on the list is, again, he did take a bunch of L's in Strikeforce to people like Dan Henderson and...
out of prime.
Verdum and Rampage Jackson, the number 18 best fighter in MMA history. This is going to be the most controversial one.
You've already been quite controversial in this video, all right?
It's going to piss a lot of people off, but guys...
breathe.
As I said in the beginning of this video, this is not your conventional GOAT list.
Are we being for real right now? Are we being for serious, guys? What are we doing here? Who is Armin Beat? He is not greater than Fedor. Oh no! Oh no! My brain cells have left my body! Oh!
It is Arman Tsarukyan.
He's not even over Dominic Cruz. He's not over Charles. He's not over Dustin. He's not over any of these guys.
Arman Tsarukyan is at the number 18 spot. The best fighter to never win a belt. The most underrated fighter in the UFC right now. That's right. People are going crazy.
gosh.
People are angry. People are throwing things in the street. They're rioting. And it's up to me to defend this. Arman
Okay, if you don't have a very solid explanation, I'm gonna screech.
Tsarukyan, guys, only has one loss in his UFC career.
No, he lost Mateusz Gamrot as well.
And that is to Islam Makhachev. It was when he took a fight on a week's notice.
Yes, I agree. This is why I say it's not a great win on Islam's resume.
And it happened to be against Islam Makhachev. And guess what? Wait a second. It was also competitive. The only loss that this guy has was a fight that he wasn't supposed to win in the first place, and he still made it fucking competitive, and it's only done nothing but age well. All right? Outside of that, he has no losses. That Gamrot fight, that was a fucking robbery. All right?
Even if I agree with you and say Arman won, it's not the most egregious thing of all time. Well, it is a little bit egregious, but it's not the craziest robbery we've ever seen. And even if you think it's a robbery, Arman still lost that fight. And in my opinion, he lost to Charles. So by your logic, if we're going off robberies, Charles beat Arman. Boom. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. Arman still got the win.
Right? That's a huge factor. If Gamrot actually beat this guy, I wouldn't even have him in the top 30. He won 4 rounds against Mateusz Gamrot. 4.
I thought he won 3, I think. I forget how he scored the fight. I had it 48-47, I'm pretty sure.
rounds. That's one of the worst robberies that I've seen in my entire fucking life. It was competitive. You can't say it wasn't. But competitive fights can be robberies. A robbery just means the judges got the fucking rounds wrong. Either way. Mateusz Gamrot. Arman beat him. Joel Alvarez. Everyone goes crazy about Joel Alvarez.
Nobody goes crazy about Joe Alvarez. No, I promise you, nobody goes crazy over that guy.
Arman Tsarukyan absolutely murked Joel Alvarez, and Joel Alvarez is being talked about like the absolute boogeyman of the division now, right? And that one is going to continue to age really well. Arman handled him. Arman has a clean win over Prime Oliveira.
Clean? No! Charles won that fight, in my opinion, if you go off the criteria of who was the closest to getting a finish or damage. Charles was going for multiple submission attempts in rounds 1 and 3, and won those rounds off those attempts. He did not rock Charles. He did not drop Charles, not that I remember. No. No, Charles won this fight, in my opinion, but ultimately they still give the decision to Arman. So I have to say that Arman won the fight. I have to remain consistent in what I say.
I don't want to hear anybody saying, no, Oliveira's not in his prime. No, Oliveira's not in his prime.
No, I'm going to say Oliveira won that fight.
Oliveira's had 2 fights since then. 2 fights since then. Oliveira was, 34 years old when he fought Arman Tsarukyan? He was coming off of the Beneil Dariush win. So, going into the Arman fight, Oliveira was 13-1 in his last 14 fights.
But you know how quickly a fighter could go in their prime one fight and the next fight they're not the same guy anymore? It could easily happen due to a multitude of different reasons. You could hit father time overnight. You can get injured. Anything could potentially happen. You could start to develop different priorities and not love the game as much. There are multiple different reasons as to why a fighter can go from this, on top of the world, down to this in just a fight.
And you're going to sit there and tell me that that's not prime Oliveira? That's nonsense.
Oliveira won the fight.
I know it was
Cope.
a close fight. I know it was competitive, but he has a clean win against him.
Not clean.
So we're
And by that logic, Mateusz Gamrot has a clean win over Arman Tsarukyan, so shut your face.
talking Joel Alvarez and Mateusz Gamrot, 2 highly respected fighters. We're also talking about Charles Oliveira, and he also knocked out Beneil Dariush badly, and only has 1 loss, which isn't even that bad. And outside of that,
You can't count robberies in your favor to suit your argument better. Because if you're going to do that, then you better apply the logic in vice versa when you want a fighter to be higher in the GOAT list, but they can't because you think they were given a robbery decision win. I hope you hold that same standard when that happens.
got 10 wins in the UFC. This guy's 10-1. And again, we can
No, he's not.
just keep going on. He's got a win over Demir.
Okay, I'm over this Arman glaze. I'm over it. He's going to keep defending until he's blue in the face. I'm going to get angry. Let's move on.
Right, so let's get on to the next one. Stipe Miocic.
17's a bit low for Stipe. I have Stipe at, like, again, in that number 11 to number 15 range.
Old man Stipe. Yeah, old man Stipe. He's an old man boot. He's tough as a root. He'll call your point mute. He's a crafty old boot.
Now listen, Stipe Miocic has a couple of L's. He's got a loss to Junior Dos Santos, but Junior Dos Santos is one of the best heavyweights
And he also avenged that loss to JDS anyway.
ever, and Stipe Miocic got that win back.
Yeah.
Right? He also has a loss to Stefan Struve back in the day, but
That was a young Stipe.
that was an eye poke, brutal eye poke. I barely even count that. That's like a bullshit loss.
Oh, I didn't even know that, honestly.
Outside of that, Stipe Miocic, the only other losses he has are to absolute legends who he also beat, like Francis Ngannou and Daniel Cormier. Stipe lost to both of those guys, but he also
And
beat
John
both of
Jones.
those guys. He beat Francis Ngannou back in the day. Francis was on a solid win streak, being talked about as a really dangerous guy. I mean, if you're fighting for the title, you can't be considered a fucking tadpole. Okay? That was an amazing win. He also has the win against Daniel Cormier, and you may say, well, Daniel was a little old. Daniel Cormier, yes, he was a little old in the trilogy, but in the rematch, in the first fight, you don't get to say Cormier is just an old head, okay? Cormier was good enough to be heavyweight champion. If it wasn't for Stipe Miocic at the time, Cormier would be heavyweight champion for a long time. Even then,
Possibly
even
true.
when he was 40, Cormier would have still been fucking people up if it wasn't for Stipe. Again,
there's
so
truth to
Stipe
that.
Miocic
There's truth to that.
wins over all-time greats like Verdum. I talked about Verdum a little earlier. Verdum is an incredible win, and he is
It is.
actually going to make this list as well. He'll be 31 through 50, but either way, that's a really solid win. Junior Dos Santos, a really solid win. And when it comes to that John Jones loss, like, I'm just barely even going to count that. As we get on
Yeah,
to number
I agree.
16, that is the undefeated Dricus Du Plessis.
These headphones, I'm really surprised these headphones haven't gone through the wall yet. DDP is not greater than Izzybound. He's not. He's not greater than Fedor. He's not greater than Stipe. He's not greater than Charles Oliveira. This list is... Oh my gosh!
1 win away from catapulting himself high up on this list. He's making the cut. Dricus Du Plessis is one of the greatest fighters of all time. I know that there's some people, Matt Hughes, and they're going to be saying Cejudo. Listen, we're in a new era.
But you have to compare based on era. Listen, okay. I understand if you want to say the new fighters are more skilled. For the 99% of the time, that's true. The new fighters are more skilled. But in terms of greatness, you have to compare based on era. At the time, certain guys like Matt Hughes, like you mentioned, were beating guys like GSP, for instance, right? He beat, Carlos Newton back in 2001 or something like that to win the welterweight title. Like, at the time, he was fighting the best of what was there. Right? Guys like GSP would be considered like Alexander Volkanovski or Islam Makhachev today at that time. So you have to compare based on era, otherwise it's just not fair. Otherwise, the top 10 greatest of all time are the current top 10 pound-for-pound fighters. That's just how you'd have to look at it.
Dricus Du Plessis is on the verge of being top 15 of all time. I think he's 1 win away from passing Anderson Silva. He's undefeated. At least
One win... I mean, I disqualify Anderson, but if you don't... Oh my goodness.
UFC, the big leagues where it actually counts. And he's got wins against Adesanya.
He has no losses in the... Oh, was this before the... Okay, this is before the this is before the Hamzat fight. Okay, fair enough.
And Robert Whittaker during their prime years. And we do not...
Okay, now you're pissing me off. Let's move on.
Win. And Dricus beat the guy who beat him twice. And now, Anderson may not have the
Anderson
same...
number 15. I don't hate it. I don't know if I agree with it, but I don't hate it.
impressive quality name.
I mean, obviously, I disqualify Anderson, but if you don't, 15, I understand why you'd put him that low. Some people would say it's crazy, but his competition really wasn't that great.
On his resume, like Dricus, or even guys like Whittaker and Adesanya, right? The difference is he does have some decent quality, beating guys like Dan Henderson, beating guys like Vitor Belfort.
Yeah, those are good wins.
Taking out Chael Sonnen. I mean, listen, people make
Damian Maia even is a good win, but it's just some of his competition was filler.
fun of Chael Sonnen, but that's actually an okay win. And also, Silva has wins against guys like Derek Brunson when Derek Brunson was in their prime, and people forget that. But Listen, Anderson Silva was
That fight was just weird.
also just the best guy in the world, and there was no doubt about it for like a while.
Yeah,
for
I agree.
a long time, there was no doubt about it. Drickus, we'll see how his career shapes up, but he could start losing. He could go on a 50-50 streak for the next couple of fights. We don't
Well, he did lose against Hamzat, so that's kind of true.
know. Anderson Silva wasn't going 50-50 when he was in his prime years.
That's true.
He was making people look like fools. He was front kicking people in the face, and they were at least decent. Some of them were absolute cans.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't think...
Like, is that Chris Lieben? Is that his name? Like, yeah, he's not good. Rich Franklin was not good. Let's just be honest.
Drickus needs like 50 title defenses, and he only needs one more, and that's why I don't have Anderson Silva in my top 10 or very close to my top 10 anymore. But listen, you got to respect it. Silva has those wins over, Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson has a win over Fedor Emelianenko. But either way...
Fedor Emelianenko? The new mythical fighter, Fedor Emelianenko, ladies and gentlemen. Give a round of applause here for our GOAT, Lucas Tracy. What would we do without him? Oh my goodness. The GOAT of MMA YouTube, of course.
I have Anderson Silva at the number 15 spot. At the number 14 spot, we have Jose Aldo.
I'm going to smack my headphones with the... Jose Aldo at number 14? Jose Aldo is top 7. I said it. He's top 7. Number 14?
Now, unlike Anderson Silva, there was a moment in Jose Aldo's prime where he was getting beat every now and then. I should say moments. There wasn't just a moment. There were moments.
What
where
moments?
You had 28-year-old Jose Aldo getting flatlined
Age doesn't determine prime!
and by Conor McGregor.
Okay. That was one punch. I'm not going to say it was lucky. Okay, let's take a look at something here. You ready? Let's look at Jose Aldo, right? How old was he when he won the WEC title? Which, by the way, there's speculations about Aldo's age. People think that his age is actually off by a few years and he's actually older than what is claimed. But okay, let's take a look. He first won the WEC title against Mike Brown in November 2009. November 2009 would have made Jose Aldo... What? I'm really bad with math. November 2009. What, 23? But, like... Oh my gosh. Let's scroll down here a little bit. Alright? Like, he really got started, like, what? He was fighting in Pancrase and stuff. Like, he was in his prime. Like, look at all these WC fights, right? And then he goes all the way up here. Right? And you could argue that he's in his prime. Even against Conor McGregor, you could argue he's still in his prime. But I think that there's a certain point where you kind of can't be in your prime anymore. I think you can only be in your prime for so long. Right? You can only be in your prime for so long. It started here in the WEC back in 2008 and remained in his prime all the way up until towards the Conor McGregor fight. I'd say the Chad Mendes was like peak. Like, towards the end of his peak. Even Conor, you could say it's peak, whatever. Then Frankie Edgar fight happens or whatever. I would say that when he got to fighting guys like Max Holloway, I think he was still a very capable fighter, but I think he was like, if this is his peak, Jose Aldo was like right here. He wasn't far off his peak, but I don't think he was at his best anymore, if you get what I mean.
And you had 30-year-old Jose Aldo and 29-year-old Jose Aldo getting beat.
Conor Colded him in 15 seconds. I can't put him 10. That's one loss. Look at his accolades. Look at his resume. Look at who he beat. You will put him top 7.
By Max Holloway. And you had 32-year-old Aldo getting beat by Volkanov.
Age does not determine prime. Glover was like, what, 40 when he won the belt? Right? Mike Tyson peaked at 20. And he was out of his prime by like, what, 28. You can only be in your prime for so long. From when you're 20 till about 20, like you can only be in your prime for what, 5 or 6 years in my opinion, right? And if he peaked at 20 or 21, chances are by 27 he was out of his prime.
So listen, he wasn't proving that he was the absolute best in the world throughout his entire peak years, but either
he was proving throughout his peak years. The competition also did catch up to him. There is a factor of that. But he wasn't in his prime necessarily. I still think he was like there, right? If this is his peak, Jose Aldo's right here. I don't think he was completely out of it, right? He lasted a lot longer than most fighters do, but let's not sit here and act like he was at his peak when he fought Volk.
way, the people that he was losing to were better than the people that Silva lost to. You know what I mean? Silva lost to Weidman. Aldo was losing to Volkan Max. It's different.
But it's a different era as well.
Okay. And even though one guy was in their prime and one guy wasn't, it's like,
Aldo wasn't in his prime.
yeah, but like 38, it's not like 50 at middleweight, okay?
H isn't a tomb prime, bro.
30.
I gotta move on. I'm actually starting to get frustrated. I'm actually starting to get angry. Let's move on. So there's number 13. Who do we think is gonna be?
He didn't look totally washed up. So you don't get to say he was washed in like 2019, 2018, or
I can say that about Jose Aldo.
2015. You don't. Okay.
I could say that he was out of his prime. I absolutely can.
Okay, so let's get on to the next one. Alex Pereira. I got Alex.
Dang, bro. People call me an Alex hater. How you gonna call me an Alex Pereira hater and then proceed to watch this video? Alex Pereira at number 13. I have it at number 8, I think. Number 13. Oh my goodness, bro. You're bugging. You're bugging.
Higher than Anderson Silva because he has better quality wins, and I got him higher than Aldo because he doesn't have as many L's. Alex has only lost to 2.
In my opinion, the way his career ended lowers him on the GOAT list. Even if he wasn't at his absolute best, I still think Prime Volk beats any version of him. His losses lower him for me. I think a Prime Aldo would make it more competitive. I do agree that Volk would win, but again, you have to compare based on era, like I mentioned earlier. Otherwise, it's not fair. You have to give every single fighter, obviously, a chance to be the GOAT. And you have to compare based on the eras. Otherwise, the current best are like the current top 10 of all time and the current top 10 pound for pound. That's not a fair comparison.
Fighters in the UFC, that's Magomed Ankalaev, who's got a really decent record, and that's also Adesanya. But he's also beaten Adesanya. He has dropped quite a bit. Alex was actually in my top 10, but because he took the loss to Magomed, a 9-1.
What? A loss to Magomed dropped you, 3 places or 4 places in the all-time record? In the all-time GOAT list? That's crazy.
Record turning into a 9-2 record. The ratio was really what was keeping Alex high up on my list. But either way, a win over Adesanya, a win over Sean Strickland, a win over Yuri Prohaska, Jamal.
Okay, well, I want you to keep that same energy, Lucas, when your favorite fighter loses. Right? Whoever your GOAT is, drop him by 4 places if he loses. You're not going to do it.
Hill, Jan Blachowicz, all former champions. And this is the thing. You may say, well, Jamal Hill is not the most impressive former champion or whatever. Same thing with Sean Strickland. Okay, but Jan Blachowicz was a solid champion, defended his belt. He has a decent resume and wins over Yuri Prohaska. I think that's going to continue to age well. I think that Yuri is almost really I think he's fucking impossible to beat, man. I think he's impossible to beat. I don't mean to sound like Henry Cejudo, but Yuri Prohaska has a really solid resume. Yuri has only lost to one person in the UFC, and that's Alex Pereira. He's beaten every other person, and he's going to continue to beat every other person unless it's Magomed Ankalaev. But you get my point. Yuri has a good resume. Pereira knocked him out badly twice. But listen, you can't say Alex was washed when he fought Magomed.
No, I don't think he was. I know he was sick or whatever, 40%, yada, yada, yada. But, like, you can't just drop him 4 GOAT places because of 1 loss. Magomed Ankalaev is a really good fighter. For you to drop him 4 places would tell me you think that he's absolute hogwash.
He still seemed to be at his peak. He was coming off of a couple of the best performances of his entire career. So, yeah, Alex Pereira at the number 13 spot. Not going to be any higher. We'll get on to Daniel Cormier.
DC at number 12, man? Oh my gosh. What, I have him? I actually have Pereira 1 spot above DC. So I can at least respect the fact that you have them side by side just like I do, except I have it reversed.
I have Daniel Cormier at the 12 spot. I got him slightly higher than Alex Pereira. He has wins over Stipe Miocic.
Yeah.
Okay, prime Stipe Miocic, who was coming off of that win against Francis Ngannou. He also has wins over Rumble Johnson. He's got 2 of them. And Rumble Johnson, I mean...
The second Rumble fight was not prime Rumble. Can we say that? I think we can.
Rumble beat Alexander Gustafsson. Rumble beat Glover Teixeira. And DC's also got wins against Dan Henderson. And don't forget Volkan Ozdemir, right? Well, listen, I know it takes a big jump off after that, but Daniel Cormier, the thing that separates him from Alex Pereira is that he's only lost to Stipe and John Jones, whereas Pereira's lost to Adesanya, who's lower than Stipe, and Magomed, who's...
But losses don't automatically determine your GOAT status necessarily. Not in my opinion. I think that, Alex Pereira did beat Izzy, right? And I think that part of the reason why he lost in the rematch was due to him being weight drained. And him losing to Magomed Ankalaev. Magomed Ankalaev is a really good fighter. You could argue he's definitely a better striker than Stipe, right? John Jones, maybe not. Maybe let's hold our horses. But I think, in my opinion, he's a better striker than Stipe. So I don't know. In terms of overall fighting, he might even be better. So I don't know about that.
Not even on the list right now. Even higher, I got Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson.
DJ at number 11. Number 11! Are we being for real right now, Chad? This is what you wanted me to watch? You really want me to suffer this badly? You are... Oh my gosh. The only reason why I'm not throwing shit and screeching right now is because I have people in this household sleeping. That's the only thing that's keeping me from throwing stuff. DJ at number 11. Oh my gosh, man.
Who also has some sneaky good wins outside of the UFC. Adriano Moraes, those are decent wins, and he's got a couple of them. Now, here's the thing about Adriano Moraes.
Brad Pickett. Did he lose to Brad Pickett? I don't... Did he? He did lose to Brad Pickett. Oh, okay. Way back in the WEC. Okay. Okay. I thought you were just counting one of those robberies. I just had to make sure.
It's a decent win, but Adriano Moraes recently lost to a fighter that's not that good. I don't even know.
But just because you don't know him doesn't mean he's not good, Lucas.
Know his name, but you can look at
Yeah, just because you don't know him doesn't mean he's not good.
Adriano Moraes' record and see the fighters that he's beat.
Adriano Moraes is a good fighter. Not as good as DJ. The size definitely played a factor in those fights. But that's still a solid win.
There's a couple other guys that DJ beat in 1FC are really not that great. And this is the thing about DJ.
Overrated resume. His resume is very good.
He is going to be on this list, and I think what separates him from DC and Alex Pereira is that while DJ was at his peak, while DJ was in his prime, this is why he's higher than all of these other guys, there was really not a lot of competition. Henry Cejudo is like the one guy that you could bring up, but he also destroyed Henry Cejudo in their first fight. And
that was a young Henry Cejudo, I will add that.
A lot of people thought that that second fight should have gone to DJ. DJ arguably won that. But either way...
I'd have to go back and watch it and score it. I'm not 100%.
I think a guy like Pantoja is ahead of him.
I'm leaving this room. I'm leaving. See ya. Bye. Okay, I'm not leaving. No. That has to be one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. Pantoja is over DJ. Really? It's really a coincidence, Lucas, that you didn't add in wins like Ray Borg. You didn't throw in Ali Bakantinov, who tested positive for EPO. I believe it was Ali Bakantinov, if I'm not mistaken. Like, what are we talking about here?
I think that Pantoja has not made it clear that he is the undisputed flyweight GOAT. But
well, you think he has. So, what?
They're basically neck and neck, and if I have to give either one of them the nod, it's...
Something else I thought about. With Pantoja now breaking his arm and losing to Joshua Van, how does that affect your GOAT list? Yeah, see how stupid it is when you start to include stuff like losses like that?
Pantoja. Now, yes, Pantoja did lose early on in his career to Figueiredo, and he did lose to Askar Askarov. But Demetrius Johnson took a couple of L's back in the day as well. I think he had a loss to Ian McCall, and he lost to Dominic Cruz. That's not the worst thing.
That was also a young DJ. That was not a peak DJ
in the world.
And he lost to Dominic Cruz, who oversized him. He was outstriking Dominic Cruz. He just overpowered him with size.
But this is the thing. The quality of Pantoja's wins are just on another level. He beat Brandon Moreno.
Henry Cejudo, you could argue, is a better win. Arguably.
Multiple times. He has 3 wins over him. Wins against Kai Kara France.
That's not a great win. That's an okay win.
That's basically better than anything DJ has outside of...
Rage bait. We're moving on to the next pick. That was a really stupid thing. Let's take a look at the resume. Right. Brandon Moreno 3 times. Okay. One of them was on The Ultimate Fighter, but sure. Brandon Royval twice. Brandon Royval, that win's not age great. Kai Kara France, that win is not age great. Steve Ursig, again, that win is also not age great. And people argue Steve Ursig won. Kaya Sakura, that win definitely is not age great. Minnow Cap, that win started to age pretty well, actually. And Alex Perez. Come on. What are we talking? He lost to Dustin Ortiz. Enough said.
John Moraga, all right? And then it's like, okay, after Kaya Sakuda.
But anyway, we're gonna move on because I can't take this crap anymore. We're gonna move on. Number 9.
That's right. Petr Yan is making the list. I said that Armand.
That's like one of his hot takes that I'm actually not mad at either. Like, I don't necessarily agree. I think he's somewhere between Stipe and like Alex Pereira. But I'm not mad at, Petr Yan making the top 10. I'm not mad at it.
Sarikian was controversial. Welcome to Controversial City. It's Petr Yan. I have Petr Yan ahead of Pantoja. I have Petr Yan ahead of Demetrius Johnson. I have Petr Yan ahead of Daniel Cormier, Jose Aldo, and Stipe Miocic, Anderson Silva as well, and everyone else on this list. Petr Yan is in my...
I mean, I don't agree necessarily with him being over, very long reigning champions. You could argue he's better than guys like Robert Whittaker, Bilal Muhammad, whatever. I don't know if he's greater than Aljamain Sterling. I mean, Aljo does have the 2 wins over him, but I don't always count the 2 wins solely. I don't think he's greater than Jose Aldo. I don't think he's greater than Alex Pereira or DC. But this is like the one take that I'm not completely mad at.
Opinion, the most underrated fighter in UFC history, and it's not even close.
Wait, what did he say? I really get annoyed listening to him talk.
My opinion, the most underrated fighter in UFC history.
It's kind of a mixed bag.
And it's not even close. It's not even close.
I don't know. People either severely underrate Petr Yan or severely overrate him. There's no in between.
Okay?
I wonder where he puts him now after the Barab fight. What do you guys think?
Want to talk about these guys barely have any losses? You want to talk about...
Oh, it's because he's going to include robberies. Watch. He's going to say that he beat Aljamain in the second fight. He's going to say that he beat Sean O'Malley. He's going to say he probably should have won the first fight, so he's going to count it.
Quality. Petr Yan has quantity of quality. And he's got only one real loss. I mean, we're going to talk about this. Let's talk about Petr Yan. Let's just go off on his wins, okay? Because you're going to disagree with that. I think Petr Yan has better wins than Pantoja, and I think he's got better wins than Demetrius Johnson. Petr Yan has a win over Jose Aldo when Jose Aldo was like 33 years old.
Allegedly, there is that thing about Jose Aldo kind of lying about his age, or not lying about his age, but the birth certificate's getting all messed up in the 1980s because apparently that was a common thing in Brazil. So we don't know if he was actually 33. If it turns out he's actually older and he was actually like 38 or something like that, then what are people going to say about the in his prime claims? They're going to be gone.
And Aldo was coming off of a win. And after that, Aldo went on a 3-fight.
Well, no, he wasn't coming off a win. He was coming off a loss to Marlon Moraes. I thought he should have won the fight, but no, he wasn't coming off a win.
Win streak. So we do not get to sit here and say Aldo was washed. Aldo was washed.
It was not a prime Aldo.
I'm sorry. If Aldo was washed when he was fighting Marlon Vera and Rob Font and Pedro Munoz, what does that make the version of...
To be fair, those are not the greatest bantamweight fighters, let's be honest.
Aldo that fought Jonathan Martinez and Batista? Because he looked good in the Martinez and Batista fight. Was he washed? I mean, I guess you could say he's old. And we could take that last loss with a grain of salt. We could take the Batista loss with a grain of salt. 4 years before that? 5 years before Aldo's last fight where he still looked good for many moments. We don't get to say that version of Aldo was washed. Petr Yan...
You could say he was old. You can. In fight years, he was old.
Beat a 33-year-old version of Jose Aldo who was coming off of a win against Marlon Moraes. It was a robbery. And then after that went on a 3-fight win streak.
Wait. Sorry. Once again, I was not completely listening.
Old version of Jose Aldo who was coming off of a win against Marlon Moraes. It was a robbery.
So he wasn't coming off a win. He was coming off a loss. You can't count robberies as wins. You just can't.
Then after that went on a 3-fight win streak. That is...
Against mediocre competition. Somewhat mediocre.
An exceptional win. So that's one. He also has a win over Corey Sandhagen. That's
a great win. That's one of his most underrated wins, is the Corey Sandhagen win. I don't think Corey gets enough appreciation for how skilled he really is.
Time and time again has proven to be a long-time staple in the top 5 in one of the most skilled divisions in the most skilled modern era in MMA history.
I agree with that.
And he beat Corey Sandhagen in a 5-rounder. Okay?
But Corey was taking it on like a month's notice or less than a month's notice or something. But still, yes, I do agree.
Number 3, he's got to win against Davidson Figueiredo, who was on a 3-fight win streak.
I have never been the biggest fan of watching Figgy at bantamweight. His style kind of changed when he moved up divisions. But yes, it is still a great win.
That is top 50 all-time fighter Davidson Figueiredo, former champion, lighter man skill. We can keep going. Sean O'Malley, we all know that was a robbery. I know it was a close fight. I know it was a competitive fight. Petr Yan won the second round. He dominated the majority of the second round, and he won the third round. It was
No, he did not win the third round. He won the first and second round. He lost the third round. I think that's what you're saying.
very close.
I really hope that's what you're saying, at least. Like, I think Petr Yan won too, but it was a close fight. I'm not going to scream robbery. There have been many worse. Michael Bisping, Matt Hamill comes to mind. Like, no, we are not going to scream robbery on this fight. Sean O'Malley won. Fair and square.
But he won the third round, in my opinion. Remember at the time.
Well, then you should not be ever judging a fight in your life.
Everyone was pissed off about the decision. I'm not about to let a couple of measly years passing by fool me into thinking that shit doesn't matter and that we're not going to count robberies.
We're not going to count robberies because, first of all, this fight was not a robbery. Second of all, it's not going to change anything because if Petr Yan won that fight, the trajectory of both their careers would have been different. But because Sean O'Malley was gifted the win, he was able to get a title shot off that. So him getting the win from the judges' nod does matter here.
It's like we're calling it a robbery for a year after. It's 2 years since. It's been
Can I swear? Do whatever you want, man. It's a free country.
2 years since. So now all of a sudden, we accept the decision. We accept the decision. Nope.
No, I don't like the decision, but it's not going to change anything.
That's a robbery. Petr Yan beat Sean O'Malley. Petr Yan also has a win over Aljamain Sterling.
It's like arguing with a brick wall. And no, he doesn't have a win over Aljamain.
About the second fight with Aljo that he lost, okay? He beat Aljo the first time.
No, he didn't, bro. He cheated. Yeah, Petr Yan would have went on to win the fight if that didn't happen. But he cheated. He broke the rules. It was a fair disqualification.
I know he landed an illegal knee, but
yeah,
you don't get
illegal
to say that, that fight doesn't count. We're going to write that off like it doesn't even count. Okay, we're not going to give Aljo the credit, but we can't give Yan the credit. Dude, Yan was winning a fucking fist fight.
No, bro. Okay, Aljamain Sterling, no, he did not beat. He did not beat Sean O'Malley. No. The rest, all fair. All fair.
He was winning a fist fight against prepared Aljamain Sterling for the title. He won the first round. He won the third round. He was dominating the fourth. He was winning 3 out of 4 rounds and was on his way to maybe getting a finish and definitely winning the fifth.
Yeah, but that's all speculation. You never know. Let's move on.
Only loss this guy has on his record. The only 2 losses. There's 2.
Because he's yapping at this point. I was kind of with him with putting on Petr Yan. Like, I'm kind of down for it, but he's still going on here.
Are going to be, but winning as a champion is 10 times more impressive because that's when the lights are brightest and it's hard to be the freaking wolf on the top of the hill, man. Like, there's not this thing where only the champions have real pressure on them.
Okay, bro, you're still yapping about this nonsense. Alright, we don't want to hear it. Let's just move on.
Usman is moving up on this list.
Kamaru Usman at number 8. Okay, I have Usman at number 9. But I don't mind him at number 8. That's not a bad pick.
That's right, Kamaru Usman.
Lucas makes Kenny look somewhat normal, bro. I just want to, have them get in a room and fight each other.
Getting a win over Joaquin Buckley. Usman, no longer in his prime years. He's not totally washed, but he's old.
He's kind of washed. His striking kind of washed.
Win against a in their prime Joaquin Buckley, who is super dangerous, extremely dangerous.
That's the best take he's had so far.
It's very impressive. And even though he has the 2 losses to Leon Edwards, number 1, let's not forget that he beat Leon Edwards back in the day as well, but also, outside of the Leon Edwards losses, he doesn't have any other losses. I mean, this is why Kamaru Usman is so high on the list.
He lost to Hamzat. What are we talking about?
I do think that Petr Yan has slightly better quality wins than Kamaru Usman, and he has more of them. But Petr Yan, even though he has a couple of losses and Usman only has a couple of losses and whatnot, I honestly rate Usman's draw with Hamzat Chimaev. I actually think that does...
You can't go on record telling people that fight was a draw. right? Because people who don't know the sport are going to watch your content and then go around saying, oh, that was an amazing fight. I can't believe it was a draw. When the reality is, Khamzat was given the decision ultimately. I agree that I think the fight was a draw, but you can't go around spreading misinformation like that. That's how you confuse the new MMA fans. No, we cannot be doing this.
Something good for him, given that he took that fight on short notice. I mean,
yeah, he did amazing. I thought it was a draw too. But don't lie to people and say it was a draw when the judges gave it to Khamzat.
Time and time again, we see fighters take fights on short notice, and they lose. And they're all...
So let's see. Joaquin Buckley, yep. Gil Burns, yep. No, he lost to Khamzat. I'm sorry, he did. Like, I love Kamaru Usman, but like he did not get a draw. He lost. The judges gave it to Khamzat.
Expected to lose. And so you can only give the fighter that wins them that much credit, right? Kamaru Usman took a fight with Khamzat Chimaev on a week's notice.
All right, enough,
Champion.
yeah.
But yeah, let's get
move
on to the number 7 best fighter in MMA history, and that is
Max Holloway at number 7? You have him over Jose Aldo? Nah, bro. Jose Aldo's definitely over him. Right. I have Alex Pereira over him. DC, DJ, Usman. Max Holloway at number 7's a little bit high. I have him at number 10. But okay, let's hear it.
Holloway.
He's going to include the second Volkanovski fight as a robbery. I guarantee it.
Will say this. If Max loses to Dustin Poirier, I think Jan and Usman go ahead of him. I will say that. I do think that these guys are all razor close. Now, Jan and Usman have less losses than Holloway. But Max Holloway...
All right, let's look at this. So, Justin Gaethje, Jose Aldo twice, the Korean Zombie, Arnold Allen, Yair Rodriguez, Calvin Kattar, Anthony Pettis, Brian Ortega, Cub Swanson, Frank Yeager, Ricardo Lamas. Okay, so he's not counting the second Volkanovski fight. Okay, interesting. But notice that all the Max losses have come to amazing fighters.
Similar to Usman, if you're looking at his prime years, even though he has a bunch of losses, a bunch of those are to one guy and one guy only. It's like Usman losing twice to Leon, but it's only one guy, right? Either way, he's got a loss to Poirier, he's got a loss to Volk, and outside of that, he's got losses to McGregor and Dennis Bermudez, but that was when he was very young. That was like rookie mode Max. You kind of have to take that with a bit of a grain of salt. The reason why I think Max is slightly higher than Jan and Usman, and again, if he beats Dustin Poirier...
But yes, this resume is very good. But I still think Aldo's greater.
I think there's an even stronger case for that, but it's ultimately because he's got, like Jan, so much quality, and he's just got more quantity as well, and that's ultimately why. You know, Max does have some losses, but...
Bro, don't know Lucas is a Volk fanboy. Is he? Oh, great. We're in for a treat then. He's going to put Volk at the GOAT, and I'm going to get mad.
Again, Poirier, Volk. Of course, I forgot about the Poirier one. There is that as well. But Max just has so many amazing fighters that he's beat, and this is it. I'm going to list you guys the names that Holloway has on his resume. Cub Swanson, Ricardo Lamas.
Bro, Aldo lost Max twice by finish. That doesn't mean that they are greater. That just means that that fighter is better than you, that they are more skilled than you. That does not mean that Holloway is greater in terms of accomplishments than Jose Aldo.
Anthony Pettis, right off the bat, those are very good wins. Those are solid wins. Anthony Pettis was no joke. That's a former champion.
Yeah, but that was a compromised Pettis to make 145. Okay. And we've already seen that, so let's move on. Oh, gosh.
Outside of that, we're talking 8 other quantity wins. But let's get on to the 6th best fighter.
I don't know why I didn't see this coming. I completely forgot about Khabib. Khabib at number 6? Oh, we're wilding.
In UFC history, that is Khabib Nurmagomedov, guys. He is the 6th best fighter in UFC history. Very easy to explain this. Khabib was undefeated and he was very dominant, okay?
Yeah, but his resume wasn't that deep. That's the problem. Khabib's resume really lacked a lot of top quality talent, right? He beat Conor McGregor, RDA, Edson Barboza, Rafael dos Anjos, Michael Johnson, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje. Those are all good wins, especially, Conor, Poirier, Gaethje, RDA. Those are fantastic wins. But you need more than 4 of those to be number 6 all time, in my opinion, especially with the ever-growing talent pool of MMA.
And he also has wins over some all-time greats like prime Conor McGregor.
That was not prime Conor. Like, in terms of physical capabilities, he still had it, but come on, that was not hungry McGregor. Come on.
Prime Dustin Poirier.
Sure.
Prime Justin Gaethje coming off of the Tony Ferguson win. And outside of that, like, it does fall off quite a bit, but still RDA, who was a champ, and
RDA became champ after that fight, I believe, too.
he has wins over Edson Barbozi. And, you know, I mean, listen, you're going to talk about the Michael Johnson win not being good. Well, Michael Johnson slept Dustin Poirier out cold. Okay? So listen, I mean, Khabib does have a good resume. Ultimately, it's the 13-0. That ratio.
Yeah, but that ratio it's not filled with top competition. Max's competition was way better. Usman's competition, you could argue, is better. Petr Yan's competition is better, especially now with the Marab win. All right, let's do this.
The 5th spot. Whoa, whoa!
GSP.
GSP at the 5th spot.
Are we serious right now, gang? Are we really doing this?
Here come the riots.
He's gonna put Johnny Hendricks got robbed against GSP.
Here come the riots. Okay? Here come the riots, man. I know. Everyone wants GSP to be at the 2 spot, the 1 spot, right? No, I'm sorry.
Who's he gonna put above? But John Jones. Who else? Islam?
I think GSP is at the 5 spot, okay? I think he's slightly higher than Khabib just because he has so much quantity. And also, I think GSP is a very curious case. There's a curious case of GSP, and this is what it is. You're looking at GSP's resume. He has no wins against top 15 all-time fighters, top 20 all-time fighters.
No, because he fought in a different era, which, according to your own criteria, does not really allow for older fighters to be considered in said top criteria. So you're kind of, tying his hands a little bit. He fought the best of what there was at the time.
But he has a bunch of wins.
What do you expect? It's Lucas Tracy? I've never watched Lucas Tracy. I just heard this list was bad. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. He's going to put Volk, he's going to put Islam, he's going to put John Jones, and one other person over him.
Against guys that were no joke.
If he puts Ilya top 3...
Okay, like Jake Shields was a fucking monster, dude.
Johnny Hendricks, I friggin' knew it. I knew he was going to do it. Matt Hughes twice, BJ Penn twice, Michael Bisping, Carlos Condit, Jake Shields, Josh Koscheck, Sean Shirk and Thiago Alves, Nick Diaz at the time, okay, Dan Hardy and Frank Trigg. Like, some of them, okay, I get it, they're not great, right? But he avenged both his losses, beat Matt Hughes and BJ Penn twice. That alone is stellar, right? Stellar. Josh Koscheck, Jake Shields, Michael Bisping, Nick Diaz, who was, at that time, not far off his Strikeforce days. Like, come on.
Jake Shields beat Dan Henderson.
He has Marab over GSP. I really hope you're rage baiting.
Okay? Jake Shields beat Tyron Woodley. Like, that's one of his wins. He's also got wins over Carlos Condit. Carlos Condit was a badass. Carlos Condit was a bad man.
Carlos Condit nearly beat Robbie Lawler, if not arguably did beat Robbie Lawler.
Man, okay? And he's got wins over Matt Hughes. He's got multiple wins over Matt Hughes. He's got multiple wins over BJ Penn. BJ Penn, top 50. Matt Hughes, top 50. Like, he's got a bunch of amazing wins.
Matt Hughes is also the 3rd best welterweight of all time, in my opinion. 3rd greatest, I guess I should say. 3rd greatest welterweight of all time, in my opinion. BJ Penn, I would say, is a top 7 lightweight, probably. People say he's top 5. I don't think he's quite that high, but oh my gosh.
He's got Nick Diaz, Sean Shirk, former...
It doesn't matter if he avenges his losses, he still lost to them. Okay, then Max Holloway shouldn't be this high on the list. But he's here. Like, come on.
UFC champion. Of course, he has the Michael Bisping win. And listen, the Michael Bisping win may be the least impressive double champ win in UFC history.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's up there. It's up there. I don't know. It kind of depends on how you define impressive. Are you talking about in terms of who he beat? Because you could argue Conor McGregor's win over Eddie Alvarez wasn't great, right? With that same logic. You could argue, I don't even know, man. Like, I'm trying to think of all the double champ status wins. But, like, I don't know.
Which is why I say that, at the end of the day, it ultimately boils down to who you're beating. I mean, just the fact that it's a double champ win doesn't necessarily mean it's the best win ever.
No, I do agree with that take. That is what I've been saying. People think that double champ automatically means that you should be top 5 GOAT. But what if you beat 2 of the worst champions to become double champion? That doesn't automatically mean your double champ status is the greatest thing ever.
But still, Michael Bisping was... At least elite. Like, he may have not been...
Yeah, he was. Okay. But we're going to skip forward. But No, stop. He's actually going to put Merab here. Stop. I thought you were trolling.
Opinion. So yeah, but I do have Merab higher. That's right.
Merab, I love Merab. I wonder with this loss to Peter Yan, does Merab get dropped in the GOAT list now? I don't think this guy remains consistent within his own logic.
The number 4 spot. The Machine. Merab.
Holy moly, man. Turn up the music. I can almost hear you.
Davaliashvili. That's right. He cracked the top 10. He's moved up since for beating O'Malley.
I do agree Merab's top 10. He's probably around number 6. Somewhere in there. But no, he's not number 4. I think it's a bit high.
In the rematch and absolutely toasting him and dominating him. But the reason why he also moved up is because I'm looking at the GOAT list a lot different these days. I'm looking at it a lot different these days. That's why I don't have GSP in the top 3 anymore. Listen, there's
because your criteria is ridiculous.
something to be said about being dominant in the lighter weight classes, okay? And I talked about Petr Yan as being one of the most underrated fighters ever. Merab fucking destroyed Petr Yan. Like, we know how good Yan is.
Well, he did. Now he lost to Peter Yan. So what are you going to do about that?
Even when he lost to Aljo, it was razor close. Merab destroyed him. As
With a broken hand.
impressive as Yan is.
I don't even, I want to take a look at, his, what he puts up with the UFC record here.
This, because Umar doesn't have the best resume. I understand that, and that's very important. That's like my number 1 criteria.
The Umar win is very good because Umar is a very good fighter. It's very obvious.
How good is the resume of the person that you beat? Umar at least has the Sandhagen win, which is good.
He only counts one of his losses. He lost twice. Ricky Simone and, I'm blanking on the guy's name. Oh my goodness, hold on. I just typed in Merab. That's funny. Who did he lose to? Frankie Science. That's it. I couldn't remember his first name.
And he schooled Sandhagen. That's also impressive. It's how he beat Sandhagen, which was very impressive. But, you just know that that's an amazing win on the eye test.
Oh, wait. Was this before the Corey Sandhagen fight? Oh.
You know how good Umar is. You know how amazing he is. It's like Hamza doesn't have the best resume, but we know how much a win against a guy like...
Okay, but you got to count the Frankie Science loss, but whatever. We're moving on. I don't even want to listen to this, bro. This is ridiculous.
Next, we have Ilia Topuria.
Ilia's not even top 10. According to your own criteria of level of competition, Ilia cannot be top 10. No.
He is the 3rd best fighter of all time. That's right. Okay, I just realized that we have too many fighters in the top 10. There's still 3 more fighters left. Either way.
Everyone moves down. Ilia's number 4, Merab number 5, and so on. So you're trying to tell me that GSP is now bumped down to what? Number 6? This is insane.
Listen, okay, so Ilia Topuria, let's just say he is at the 4 spot. Merab's at the 5 spot, GSP 6. Okay, whatever. Listen, the reason why Ilia Topuria
I didn't even notice that either, by the way.
is this high, the reason why he's 4 all time, in my opinion, is because the wins over Volk, the wins over Max, the win over Charles, there's nothing overrated.
That's 3 wins. That's probably the best 3-fight win streak in UFC history, but that's his 3 great wins. That is not top 10. Quality of competition is number 1. But also quantity of competition was also part of that resume. Yes, he's undefeated and that plays in your criteria, which is a bit ridiculous. But he doesn't have the quantity to stack up yet.
About those wins. I'm starting to hear some people say, well, Charles was old, Volk was old, Max was old.
I'm not even here making those arguments. But he beat Yusuf Salah, which that win is aged well. He beat Bryce Mitchell. Okay, that's a good win. Josh Emmett, fantastic win, especially how dominant it was. Charles Oliveira, Alexander Volkanovski, and Max Holloway. Amazing wins. Not top 4.
Max was old? Max is 33 years old. In what world is...
I mean, like I said before, age doesn't always determine prime. I agree Max wasn't washed. People will say that he was weight drained for this fight, but I don't even look into that too much. I just think that it was a tough stylistic matchup.
A 33-year-old old. Oh, he's got miles on him. He's got miles on him.
He does.
I don't care, dude.
Well, then you can't say he was in his prime. You can't just dismiss the fact without actually bringing up a counter argument and then try to still say he was in his prime. Like, oh, he has a lot of miles on the clock. He's old for his age in terms of fighting years. I don't care. That's not a counter argument.
Max Holloway was on a 3-fight win streak.
Against who? An old Korean zombie? right? Against Arnold Allen, which is a decent enough win. And what, Justin Gaethje, I guess? That was a great win. But like the Korean Zombie, come on.
He was coming off of the best performance of his entire career. He had looked the best he has ever looked in his entire career. He had improved from the trilogy with Volk, where
I agree to an extent.
Max Holloway going into the trilogy with Volk was looking improved. He improved from the trilogy with Volk going into Topuria fight. He looked good against Topuria. You don't get to say that Holloway was old. That's prime Max Holloway. Peak prime.
This guy's definitely a rage baiter. He's definitely trying to garner a reaction. No, we're skipping forward to number 3, bro. I can't listen to your complete utter nonsensical rap. Yap. Alright. Holy frig, man. Okay.
Spot I got John Jones. That's right.
At number 3, you got John Jones. Okay, well now I'm just confused. I'm confused. If it's not GSP... Oh no, I just realized what he's gonna do. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. I'm not gonna say what I think. I'm not gonna say what I'm thinking.
Falling from the number 1.
Also, you there, Wakaz, quit spoiling it. I haven't seen this yet, but quit spoiling it.
Spot, not just because he ducked Tom Aspinall and we're all upset about that, but I've actually done a little bit more looking at his resume. John Jones, outside of his win over Daniel Cormier, and he's only got one that we can count because the second one he popped for steroids, and that was basically cast.
That's what disqualifies him
off of his record because he cheated. But outside of the Daniel Cormier win, I just don't think he can compete with the guys above him. And that's right, we're going to get to number 2, Alexander the Great, Volkanovski.
I have Volk at number 4. Number 2 is a bit high, in my opinion.
Alexander Volkanovski continues to move up on the GOAT list. I think all of my GOAT videos, he has just been climbing that ladder to the top, to the tippity top. And guys, I just told you that John Jones just cannot compete with the guys above him because he only has one all-time great win over a guy in DC. And I think a lot of his wins are kind of overrated, to be honest. But
I agree.
When we look at Alexander Volkanovski, we have 4 all-time great wins. We can talk about the Jose Aldo win. Volk beat him when he was 32. He was coming off of a win streak.
Yeah, but Aldo wasn't in his prime. I've already said that.
He beat Max Holloway not once, not twice, 3 times. You see, we give Ilia Topuria credit for beating Max. One of the reasons why Dustin Poirier is on this list to begin with is because he beat Max Holloway in 2019 in their rematch, right? And he, of course, beat Max Holloway way back in the day, but, like, Volk beat Max 3 times. 3 times.
Okay. We're going to skip to number 1 because this video is getting long, right? Especially for you watching this YouTube thing at home. The number 1.
Fucking go to the sport. That's right. Islam Makhachev.
I've said this 1,000 times, and I will say it again. Islam's resume is extremely overrated and filled with asterisks. It is. Like, let's just be honest, right? Alexander Volkanovski, the second fight, short notice, right? And he was a featherweight moving up. Dustin Poirier was out of his prime at that point. Was not the same guy. If this was like if this was 2019 to 2021, Dustin, that's like the best version of Dustin, in my opinion. I think that version you could argue is prime. The 2020, what was it, 2024 version of Dustin, that was out of his prime. Charles Oliveira is a great win. Dan Hooker was short notice and never, I'm going to be honest, Dan Hooker was never a great win. Arman Tsarukyan taking the fight on short notice and making his debut. Drew Dober's not a great fighter. Renato Moicano, 1 day notice, not a great fighter. Bobby Green, short notice, not a great fighter. Davi Ramos, come on. And he lost to Adriano Martinez. So by your own criteria, he can't be the GOAT because he lost to a nobody and never even avenged the loss.
Is the GOAT of the sport. I think it's time. John Jones lost to Dominic Reyes. That's worse than losing to Islam Makhachev in a close battle. The second fight with Makhachev, I'm sorry, I'm just hardly going to count that. Like, you just can't tell me that anyone in their right mind expected Volk to win that fight. And he shouldn't win that fight. He should never win that fight. Makhachev should beat Volkanovski.
Yeah, like, look at this. Like, this is Volk out of shape, bro. Come on.
in those conditions with Volk coming off of the couch,
So how are you going to say Islam's the GOAT?
coming off of the surgery, he should beat him 100 times. 100 out of 100 times. Yes, knocking him out is nice, but like Volk cannot win that fight ever. No one in a pound for pound
I think this is made before the JDM fight, by the way.
number one type of matchup is winning if they're coming off of the couch after not training for 2 months, coming off of an arm surgery. We're not really going to look too much into that. But at the end of the day, Volk's real losses to Poirier, who we see how good he is, and Islam Makhachev. And at the end of the day, listen, Volk actually took the challenge of moving up to fight a monster. Jones didn't fight Ngannou.
I think there's a point that he probably just wants to hate on Jones, probably. I just disqualified Jones altogether, but even if you don't, John Jones has to be number 1 or number 2, but no lower.
Jones didn't fight Jan Blachowicz. Jones didn't.
He would have beat Jan.
Give Dominic Reyes, who clearly beat him 3 rounds to 2 the rematch.
I agree, but like, come on, man. He still got the nod.
Jones didn't give Tom Aspinall a chance.
I agree.
Jones's win over Stipe Miocic means nothing in my...
Okay, that's enough of that. This video is already an hour long. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've had enough of that video. Okay, so we're gonna move on to a segment of the stream. For the next few minutes, I'm just gonna be here reading chat. If you guys have any questions you want to ask, now is the time that you do so. We'll do so for a few minutes before we head off stream. If you have anything you want to ask, do so now, and I will answer. I'll answer pretty much anything. The only thing I won't give you is my address, but like other than that, I'll answer pretty much anything. So fire on away. Let's see. He isn't going to criticize Jones that much because he is afraid to get sued. Does John Jones sue people for that kind of stuff? I mean, I don't know. I never take John Jones as the kind of guy to want to go to court, considering he'll probably lose that kind of battle. Picks for Allen versus Silva. I think that Gene Silva's going to win. I think Arnold Allen's just been too inactive. I think he can win. I think he's a very good, well-rounded fighter, but like, in my opinion, I think that Gene Silva's been more active. I think he's going to learn a lot from the Diego Lopez fight. I think people are going to be jumping on that hype train again in no time. I have Volk to 7-5 range. Would you say that's fair? I'd say you should be closer to 5 than to 7. I have him at number 4, I think. But number 5 would be reasonable. What if Volk became double champ? Well, let's take a look at... I'm just trying to think. Alexander Volkanovski's resume, I guess. Or who would his first title defense have been? Who did Islam defend his belt against after he got done with the whole Volkanovski fight, right? So he fought him at 284, and then he fought him on short notice. It was supposed to be Charles Oliveira. I think Volkanovski would have beaten Charles. I honestly think so. I think he would have. I think the boxing would have been too much. Then he would have been fighting Dustin Poirier. I think he would have beat Dustin. Would have beat Renato Moicano. Like, I think he would have beaten most of the guys there. Armin would have been a tough fight. But I think Volkanovski would outstrike him, in my opinion. Who do you think are top fighters outside the UFC, like the best? I know some people would say Usman Nurmagomedov, especially with his win over Paul Hughes. I'm trying to think. I know I used to be really high on Adriano Moraes. Christian Lee's a good one. Rod Tang's really good at Muay Thai fighters specifically. I'm trying to think of like PFL fighters and stuff, but Francis Ngannou, I guess, but he already fought in the UFC. So I don't know. That's kind of a tricky one to answer because we've seen that a lot of the guys outside of the UFC haven't been able to come in very successfully, if we're going to be honest. Which one do you think is impressive? Beating Max 3 times in Aldo or beating Volk 1, Charles, and JDM? I don't know. The thing is, I've said this before, with beating Max 3 times, I've always said that could just be a favorable stylistic matchup. Whereas at least beating Volk, Charles, and JDM are 3 separate fights. But I'd probably give the nod to Max 3 times in Aldo, mostly because JDM does not stack up to those guys in terms of skill. I'm sorry, he just doesn't. He's not that guy. I think Anderson Silva beats GSP. Let's say GSP went up to 185, or they did a catch weight of like 180, because Anderson could have made that weight. I think GSP wins. I think the wrestling's too much. What about Vadim Nemkov? I mean, we'd have to see him. He beat Corey Anderson, right? Corey Anderson was winning the first fight, though headbutt or whatever it is happened, and then in the rematch, Vadim Nekov won. He could, but I'd have to see him. Aaron Pico, he has potential, but we got to see him get a win first. Any question besides address you'll answer? How big is it? Let me find something to compare it to so you can kind of have a good visual. I'd probably say it's about this big. Like, what, that? I think that's a pretty good representation. I think that's huge, to be honest with you, right? It's not about the length, it's how you use it. It's the same thing with your reach in a fight. It's how you use it that matters, all right? And maybe it's not even the size of this. It could just be the size of this little stump. You know, they do call me Mr. Girth, no length. They call me a tree stump kind of thing, is what we're doing. Would you rather spar Strickland or debate with Lucas? I'd rather debate with Lucas, and I'll tell you why. I think I'd make him look foolish. I think I'd make him look absolutely silly. Which one of the fighting nerds do you think has the best chance of becoming champ? I don't think it's going to be Kyle Borrello, because I don't think he could beat Hamzat. I don't think it's going to be Hoofy, because he's also in a tough division, and his style is not the best for fighting those top grapplers. And then what? Gene Silva, and there's one other one I'm blanking on. Carlos Prates. I don't think Carlos Prates beats this. I think Gene Silva. I think he has the best chance. I think he could beat Volkanovski, to be honest. People forget, man, Arvid's a top 18 fighter of all time. Oh my gosh, man. The Lucas Tracy memes are going to go crazy. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before, but if you go down to the description box of my channel, I'm going to put this in here, and you guys can go put in some funny memes and such, alright? I'm going to put this in. Just hold on. Oh, crap, I got to put this in live chat here. I want to start utilizing other forms of media as well. So I want you guys to go check out this Reddit page here. All right, go sign up, go become a member, go put your memes in there today. Let's build a community over there on the Reddit page. Let's do it. A Protest or Gene can be champ. I honestly think I don't think Protest will beat Islam. Oh wait, why am I showing my channel? There we go. I didn't even know I was doing that. Sorry. But yeah, I don't think that Protest wins. If Green moved up, him versus Holland would be funny since they have a conversation mid-fight. Could you imagine? Could you imagine what the conversation they'd be having? Kevin Holland, but they talk about different stuff. Kevin Holland just kind of talks about literally whatever. Whereas Bobby Green will legitimately be just talking trash the entire time. He'll be taking it really seriously. What if DJ beat Cejudo twice since people thought it was a robbery? If DJ won the second fight, he probably would not have left the UFC. He probably would have stuck around until around the time that Brandon Moreno started to come into the picture. Or maybe TJ Dillashaw would have finally moved down to 125 for that fight, which I think DJ would have won. I have Armand as a top 10 grappler in MMA, not top 10 18 fighter. That's reasonable. Armand's a really good wrestler. His submission game is improving. That part does need work. But, I don't hate it, though. Protest is still young, and Islam will retire soon. It's possible, but you never know. Islam, he could last longer than Protest. And Protest is also just a chain smoker, bro. I guarantee you that's going to catch up to him later in his career. In some form of capacity. Oh, goodness. You know what, gang? We're going to wrap it. We're going to call it a night. It's actually past midnight. That's actually insane. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'll probably be live again tomorrow. Since I don't really have a lot going on tomorrow. So I'll catch you guys after work tomorrow. I hope you all have an amazing night.